That's a hot take.
Swinging around American flag, because that's what America's supposed to be. It's supposed to look like permanently chill.
The insurance commercial has a fat ass, but like no personality.
Yeah, I feel like sitting here and listening to this.
No, god damn it. Isaac, New Noise is not the first fucking refused album.
Rip Isaac a new one today. Do you know what I mean? Like...
Don't touch my records. Ever. Three, two, one.
Oh, hello, guys. Thank you for joining us for Hot Takes, the vaporwave talk show where we discuss ideas, concepts, musics. Sometimes they're controversial things, but it's always done from a point of love and a point of examination. There are no bad opinions, just hot takes. My name is Skeleton Lipstick, and joining me as always is our host, young Shiro.
Hello.
Most phenomenal DJ. Don't mind me, I'm eating orange right now. I apologize. Most phenomenal DJ in all of vaporwave.
You're too kind.
And I am. Oh, you're too kind for having me. I appreciate.
Always.
Why don't we get right into music recs? Right.
Let's hear him.
Okay. So I want to do a shout out to a record label that I believe is going to be temporarily going on hiatus right now. Water's End. This is a really phenomenal record label. I believe it's run by Room 208, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, word.
Yes. And
pretty cool, homie.
He had a compilation that came out. Yeah, very cool, homie. Called Until Next. I think I'm correct on that. Yes. Anyway, it's called Until Next Time, and it's a wonderful compilation with a bunch of artists that have been on that record label, and some that have not. And it's got some outstanding tracks on it by some people like Trapes and Sky Too High, and Ming Cure, and of course, Tower and Room 208 and Tower of the Sun, and some others on here, and it's a phenomenal record. There's a real, all the tracks in my opinion are really good standout tracks. I really love the last song on it by Dual Sight called No Reason, and I actually really love the first song on the compilation by Sky Too High called Floating Earth. And everything in between is phenomenal as well. Trapes has got a phenomenal song on it. There's a really great song by Angel Face called True Faith, which is just such a very like echo jammy vaporwave song with like just a really hypnotic rhythm and really wonderful sample chopping in that on that compilation, and it's fucking cool as shit.
Very cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. Do you want to link it?
I'm going to link it right now. So
You're the man.
Check out this record label if you have not yet. Check out all the albums on it, and most certainly check out the this compilation in particular. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoys it. Support it. It's on cassette tape right now. I just bought my copy of it this week, and I think everyone else should buy a copy of it too. Great record label, wonderful compilation. Check it out.
Very cool. Any other recs?
Yeah, sure. That's the big one right now.
That's a lot to start with.
What else would I recommend right now that I've been listening to? I don't know. Do your hot take. I'll come up with some more recs in a
So,
moment.
one thing just to let y'all know, I am a little under the weather, so I apologize if I cough or sniffle or snort. I will try to mute my mic. Don't have the coronavirus, but, you know, just coming off of something. What I want to bring up, no naming, you know, but it references, you know, just a handful of things that we've dealt with for a long time in this unique community. You know, vaporwave obviously is not all sample based. You know, it's more about the ethos, but a lot of it, let's admit, is sample based, at least at the beginning. I mean, we've got people that do the classic 80s R&B, smooth jazz. We've got people like Christ who go crazy and sample The Field or Ford and Lopatin and everything in between, right? But I just want to hear from you, Chris, and I want to hear from our guest eventually as well. And most importantly, I want to hear from the chat. I truly believe that there is a very large gulf of difference between sampling some wealthy artist who's made their money and is probably like something that's damn near in the public domain and stealing from your working class peers. So I just want to know what y'all's thoughts are about that, because it comes up over and over and over again in good ways and bad ways. You already know my thoughts. What do you think, Chris?
So you're talking about the difference between sampling from an established artist or an artist outside the scene and from taking something from somebody in the scene?
Pretty much.
I think it's in bad taste to take from somebody in the scene. You know, might be in poor taste to do so. Are we talking about, are they doing a remix?
Not any specific reference, but just people profiting off of other people's work without their consent. People taking other people's work that are not, just basically not punching up, but like punching down, you know, ripping off their contemporaries.
I think most people know that it's rather gauche to do something like that.
And not in an homage type of way, but in like a, this is mine, you know, I did this, or...
I understand. I think most people sort of know it's rather gauche to take something from somebody else that's in your direct scene and make something out of it, but I don't know. I mean... I don't know.
That's
vaporwave.
That was my statement basically right there.
Man. I'm not sure it's vaporwave.
We got some good responses in the chat already. Somebody says the quiz says depends on what kind of sampling. City Funk has lots of songs.
It's a Clementine, not an orange. You're absolutely right, Trip Science. Thank you. Sorry.
Not cool to do. I'm sorry as well. I just burped. Not cool to do that to a smaller artist. Chuck Loves Eggs says it is very gauche. Great SAT vocabulary right there. Zavi Max says,
I want to say that it's not that it's you can't do it, and I wouldn't stop people because hell, I'm trying to enforce as few rules as possible on how people want to.
I feel that on a spiritual level.
But here's the thing: if you do that, I mean, someone's going to eventually call you out for it, and then you will be subject to mob rule. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're going to be.
I don't think people will do that often because I just feel like. You know, people will not like that, but...
I don't want to offend anybody or hurt anybody's feelings, but I think that in this scene, especially in this chat room right now, we take care of each other. We care about each other. I mean, one thing I'm proud of on Hot Takes is I've never had to call one person out one time for saying anything hurtful or problematic.
Never.
We're on episode like 19, not once.
Oh my gosh, the people who come to who chat with us and share this time with us together are like the kindest, most thoughtful and interesting people like ever.
For sure.
We are so blessed to have all these people who have so much beautiful thoughts and wonderful sense of community, you know, join us every other week.
And I genuinely believe that.
It's such an honor. It's such an honor just to hang out with friends. You know what I mean?
I agree. Some good people.
So I don't really consider this so much an interview show as it is us hanging out together and having a conversation with, you know, us and our special guest and all our other special guests in the chat. And thank you guys.
Speaking of which, for anyone tuning in, since this is going to be on podcast services, my father is in chat. Everybody say hello to Philip Pippin.
Say hi.
My father tuned in tonight.
Papa
Shiro's dad.
Papa Shiro.
But let's I mean, unless you guys have any other thoughts, I kind of want to see what our special guest, who we haven't even introduced yet, has to say about that and a host of other things. If you don't know who Golden Living Room is, you're making a mistake. Golden Living Room, as I understand it, is known to be one of the most multifaceted when it comes to ability. What?
Old Shiro.
Old Shiro. Oh, okay. I want to say Golden Living Room does a lot of original instrumentation and composes a lot of their work themselves in an analog or like an acoustic fashion. Golden Living Room has been around for a long time, has collabed with a lot of OGs, performed at both ElectroniCON events. So we're gonna bring our good friend Golden Living Room on right now and see
the most talented and most interesting thinkers that I have met.
for sure. I can't wait to get into some of these questions with Golden Living Room. So we're gonna go ahead and bring them on right now. Go ahead and unmute yourself, buddy, and let me see if I can find the static. Here we go. Hey, look at that cool shirt he's wearing, guys.
Oh my God! He's got the Terminally Chill shirt on. I can't believe that's the one that we had at ElectroniCON.
Was it one or two?
That was one. That's
Okay,
ElectroniCon
that's what I'm
one.
trying to remember.
That's the one that you just got.
Barely.
We were just
Your
talking about that
feedback.
before you jumped in.
Wow,
Barely,
that
barely.
was what a hero's journey for you to get to that ElectroniCon.
For real. It was a hot mess, and I just held on to hope with my wig, my
Yeah,
hat.
I remember that large brimmed hat that you wore at
I
both.
have it in the closet. I almost wore it.
that and the
Yeah,
and
you
the
wouldn't have been
blue
able to get
wig,
those
right?
headphones on.
Yeah, I
You
got
had
the
that
wig.
and the yeah. You got in.
You had a blue
and
wig?
I saw you.
It was brown.
It was brown. I'm sorry. My
Yeah.
memory serves me incorrectly. But you had the wig on and you had the hat on and you said hi to me and I was like, who is this? Who is this?
I did it to a whole bunch of people.
I didn't realize it was Joel. I didn't realize it was you. You know, like it was bad. I didn't know
I did
it
it
was
to
you.
I walked into the green room where there's James and Telepath and Vapor and a whole bunch of people were in there, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey guys!" And they're like, "This guy."
I had no idea who you were. Well, because I don't even think most of us didn't even know that you got in. You know, I
Right.
don't think I think that there was rumblings of it, but no one was really sure up until right
Oh, wow.
before you played.
So we
I
didn't
think I
even.
was messaging Jeff. Jeff was the one that was kind of relaying the messages.
Oh,
to
that's
people.
that's a cool guy. We need to get him
Yeah.
on the show here pretty soon.
Jeffrey, I'm sure Jeffrey would love to come on.
So you were actually telling me last night during the sound check about the issue with Jeffrey at ElectroniCon LA.
Oh, the
You gave me
Scarlatti.
some insight on that I never had before. I thought there was a problem with his laptop.
Well, it might have been both. It might have been both. In fact, he was using my. Something happened, and he was using my like.
Hold on, for reference point, just really quick. For anyone who doesn't know, if you weren't at ElectroniCon 2 or you didn't see the footage, what happened was that there was a technical error with Vape Error, aka Jeff's equipment.
There was a vape error.
We assumed it was his computer because what happened at the end of the set was in the midst of his frustration, he grabbed the computer and slammed it on the ground, a la like the Who smashing their guitar style rock star performance. So you were saying, that's just reference point for people who don't know what we're talking about. Go ahead.
He had his little interface. Is it? How do you? Is it Scarlet?
It's Scarlet.
Scarlet.
I don't know.
Okay.
2i2, I think.
Focus right or
Whatever.
something like that. Anyway, yeah. And James had one, and someone else had one. There was like 4 or 5 of them. I took a picture of it. I might
Oh, no
find
way.
a stack of Scarlets, and none of them would work. So that I think it was the laptop problem.
Wow.
But we were like trying different things, and so I busted out my old like 2012 laptop that he was gonna use for something, and he ended up using it. So when he like
Oh, no way.
when he trashed laptop, I thought it was mine. I was like,
Oh, no.
No.
Boy, am I glad it wasn't.
He was wrapped up in the hype at the moment. You know what I mean? He was feeling it, so it's all right. But then I found out it wasn't mine.
I saw him smash that, and all I could think was, oh my God, he's supposed to co-DJ the after party too.
Oh, no. Oh, he
I'm like,
tore
I
up
hope-
that DJ set, too. I remember.
He did, and I'm like, I hope he has another thing. But like Jeff is always super prepared, so like I talked to him like, you have another way to DJ, right? He's like, oh yeah, I got like backup USB sticks.
Oh, hell
this and
yeah.
this and that. So he was more than prepared. But anyway,
No, that was a great memory. Like rushing around. ElectroniCon 2 was all about me helping my friends. I didn't really care.
yeah,
about it.
you jumped up on the stage with
I remember that.
you know, to help Telepath set up everything too. I remember, yeah. Mhm.
I was the fog machine during Televape.
You
And
were the fog machine during Telepath.
yeah,
that's
every
right.
time like I was like pointing. at
I
the
remember
crowd,
that.
and,
I do remember that. Oh, my God. I
Yeah,
forgot about
watching
that
the
until
crowd.
now.
That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed being helpful. That took the.
You were like the
Yeah.
show dad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you really were the show dad.
It took the anxiety off of forming because I was pretty anxious.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So-
being a
man.
performance person, I get anxious every performance.
Oh, for
Now-
sure. Yeah.
You are, if you don't mind me asking, music extends into your personal life as well, no? Are we okay with talking about that?
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. I'm an elementary music teacher, and
Very
I'm
cool.
also a private guitar, piano, music production teacher as well. So I'm music all day,
Guys, for real.
every day, all day, every day.
It's a wonder you haven't ruined it for yourself.
I know. I have to go like extreme weirds to like keep things separate. Like
I can only
this
imagine.
Yeah, but at the same time, I have to believe in everything that I'm doing. So I have to, like, everything that I'm teaching. That's the key to me. To my teaching success is that I believe in the music, and if I don't like the music, I will not teach it.
Do you think that's maybe like a key to just success in life in general?
I think so. Yeah.
What do you believe? Do what you believe in.
Yeah, I know it sounds a little cliche, but at the same time,
No, it doesn't.
It's really helped. Like, the kids know. I mean, those kids, they can read you like a book. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
They know. You walk in and you're off. You're unprepared. They know from the 5 seconds after you walk in the door that, oh, he's not ready today. Well.
Wow.
Oh wowie.
That's that's like you're doing a performance every day that you go to work.
You got to be on. That's the thing. Sometimes it's hard to I'm like, guys, I have to be real with you right now. Like, I don't feel good, and I'm not the Mr. Cachero you normally know.
Mr. Cachero. Wow.
That's weird. I know. It's weird.
I love it. No, I love it.
I was going to
It's
ask
great.
you if you were all right
I
with
love
us
these
using
other
your name,
facets
so
to your
I'm glad you brought it up.
I've got many names.
Yeah, why do you have the
love
pseudonym?
that.
Can I ask?
Oh yeah, that's associated with work as well.
Okay.
So when I was a parrot.
You have like a cow Chuchesta thing going on?
I got all kinds of stories. Well, I wrote my name sloppy on an ID badge, and so they wrote it out as Jory Cachero. And so I immediately covered it up with tape and wrote Joel. And then my father-in-law thought it was funny, so he started calling me Jory all the time. So that became
funny.
And then I worked at another school, and I'm only there half a day. I was only there half a day a week on Wednesday mornings, and I had no idea about what I was getting myself into. But I had done this before, where I was only at a school like half a day a week in the past. So I'm looking at the schedule that the principal sends out, and on it says PE to like the second PE teacher, and the last name was Camacho. So I'm like, I emailed them like, hey, I don't see my name on the schedule. I was wondering if you could tell me like what I'm going to be doing. He's like, you're Camacho, right? I'm like, no, my last name is Cachero. He's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have you covering PE. And I was like, okay.
They botched your name.
Mr. Camacho, the PE teacher, when I went to that school. So that was kind of.
Camacho serves the purpose for a PE class better.
It does. It really does.
You got that wrestling connection with that when you have Camacho.
I could dress like a PE teacher. I could act like a PE teacher.
You can become a different person. You're like, exactly. I'm Camacho now.
Literally.
And, Mr. Camacho, he doesn't take any guff. He's into physical fitness. He wants kids to really take the lessons from the sports yard to their life. He's trying to mold, young people into the adults of tomorrow. That's the way of Camacho.
I love that I could even get away with dressing like I didn't normally dress. I could wear sporty.
Oh no way! Like alter ego.
I know, and I took it as a joke at first, and I was like,
the Slavic tracksuit.
A Slavic tracksuit.
Hey, before we get into questions, I just wanted to let you know we have one person who tuned in from Bulgaria at 5:13 a.m. just for you.
Wow.
Bulgarian Zoomer, I know that
Bulgarian
guy.
Zoomer is quite the fan, so we want to shout out Bulgarian Zoomer and welcome him to the show.
I haven't been on the chat. I haven't been looking in the chat at all, but I will now.
Also, shout out Casino. It's not you, but hello.
Hey,
do you want to comment on that hot take, or should we just gloss it? Yeah. What do you think?
I put a little zinger in the chat. I don't know if anybody caught it. I tried to keep it a little bit cryptic, but let's just say there's a musician that did that.
Oh, I did see that. Okay. I was referring to a lot of things. The argument, listen, I mean, Chris and I, and you probably too, have been around for a long time, not getting any younger. I've seen it done many times.
I've been here since day one, man.
I mean,
of course.
Honestly, the drama, for better or for worse, it's cyclical. And, sure. Like I said, not trying to hurt any feelings, just want to put out the difference there, in my opinion. See what
Yeah.
sounds
No,
like
for
you
sure.
agree based on what you posted. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think it's in good taste at all to sample down if that's what you guys were
sampling
referring
down.
to.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, sample down. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it depends on where your heart is. I think that's what Chris was saying, or someone was saying. I think maybe it was Lux was saying. It depends on where your heart is, and if you're transparent about it. But if you're trying to pass that shit off as yours,
Well,
it's sort of
listen,
like-
I mean, there's lots of
sort of-
remixes. I mean, Brains
Sure,
did that
sure,
remix
sure.
of Wasted Nights. Lux remixed Runners Club 95. Chris
Sure.
remixes people all the time, and vice versa.
Yeah, I sampled
You know?
R23X and worked with him for
Yeah.
that one song. You know,
That's an
Right.
homage. That creates community.
That's
It's different,
That's
you
different
know?
because that's transparent. You know what I mean? It's when you're trying to pass your shit off as someone else's that it gets a little bit funky.
Quiz. I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead. I'll get into quiz question later. I know he really wants me to ask it.
One of the things that I always kind of do like is when I see some more people who make echo jams sampling. I actually do like this. I actually like when I see echo jams people sampling the same songs. That happens. There's certain songs that they will, will chop up and reverb and recontextualize that get chosen pretty often. And I actually always really like it when I see people using the same samples. And then I love to listen to them all and just to see which one is the one that clicks with me better. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Some people get like really silly about, Waterfront Dining sampled this, but also blah 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 sampled this one, and they both sampled this song, and I don't know. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I like when they do that. It's interesting to me. It actually, I feel like it's a commentary on something. You know what I mean? Something about nostalgia and something about culture when you see Echo Jam's artists sampling the same things, and I enjoy seeing the slight differences in them. You know what I mean?
Me
I
too.
enjoy looking for the differences in the reverb textures or the differences in the part of where they sampled the song at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the speed in which they play it, or how they choose to work with it. I think it says something about who that person is, and you can understand something different about each one based on how they treat it. So I actually I wish there would be like a compilation where it's just everyone has to use the same song, and then let's see who you are and how you interpret it.
What do you guys think is the most commonly sampled song in Vaporwave?
Plastic Love?
Sade.
Plastic Love,
Sade,
Sade, Midas Touch, dude. I've heard Midas Touch in like 6 different songs.
Midas Touch. I feel like Midas Touch gets sampled the most because Boards of Canada remixed it, right?
True.
Because what was the other? What was
Hell
the
Interface.
what's the- Hell Interface. Thank you, because Hell Interface did a remix of that song. You know, I mean, I think that drew a lot of people's attention to it.
True. Well, we got some questions in the chat already for you, Joel. The very first
all right.
and very best question
Start with question.
will always be from Quiz. Do you fear
man.
death?
Oh, I fear death.
This is a good question.
I shouldn't, but I do. I do and I don't. I fear death
Right.
because I fear about the welfare of my family. But I
see.
don't fear
True.
death because
True.
I know it's probably just like the beginning of another cycle.
So, okay, that's an interesting question. So, all of our worldly obligations aside, right? Like if in the world where, your family is okay, your children are okay, your friends are okay, everything's going to be fine. Yeah, so you don't fear what may happen next after death.
Right.
Right. No, I mean, my wife, she's got it under control. She knows what's up.
Very cool.
So if
She got it
if
under
some-
control, yes.
If something happens to me, we've got a support system. We've got
Once again, so hold on, we got to remove that variable. Let's just
sorry,
say
missed
the
that.
idea of you no longer being here, the
Right.
idea of what happens next, the idea of afterwards.
No, that doesn't scare me at all. In fact, that
Really?
excites me.
It
But
excites
So-
but not in a like morbid kind of way.
I read
I
in a.
didn't think so.
I
didn't
don't know
think so.
about you, Chris. I feel like somebody said something about a conversation they had with you. I don't remember who it was. But I read somewhere from a lot of people that came this close to death and then came back from death that it was like an amazing, restful, deep slumber. And they actually kind of liked it. And when they came back, it was all pain and
What I may have told you is that everybody that so I've dealt with some people who, of course, have died and are revived or go through these big accidents and come back. And what I told you, I don't know what other people told you, what I told you is that they don't remember anything. They don't remember anything. They don't even remember the moment of their death. Or the moment that caused pretty much them to come close to death. They don't even remember that. Like, for example, I remember speaking to a gentleman who, he had this. He was on a boat, and the boat was going under an underpass, and his face hit the underpass. Right, totally smashed apart his face. Had to go to the trauma bay. Flatlined several times, then went through several different surgeries to reconstruct everything. He doesn't have any recall of that time period. He just remembers at one point being in a hospital bed, and this is like weeks later, basically, because he was out for a while. But I think the comforting thing here is that he doesn't remember his death. He doesn't remember hitting the underpass. That's gone. And several minutes before that are gone as well. Or a gentleman who fell off a building I spoke to. He doesn't remember falling off the building. The only one I remember who actually did remember something was a man who was bleeding to death in the car accident. And he said it came to a point where that's maybe the restful slumber thing you're thinking of. He referred to it as feeling like a very large orgasm. And then his eyes went black. And then he was taken to the hospital, and then he was revived. That's the only person I remember.
I know.
But for the really, really sudden violent
Telepath
deaths,
album cover.
You won't remember it. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything after this. I don't. I have nothing to suggest to me one way or the other that there is or is not. In my opinion, I don't know, right? But what I do know is that you probably won't remember it. You won't remember it. You won't remember your own death. It's not going to happen, most likely, because they don't. And one thing I can say is the people who have died and returned, it's like nothing even happened. They don't have anything to tell you from the other side. If anyone is telling you that they really know what goes on afterwards, or they've seen it themselves, they're probably a charlatan, or they maybe have imagined something. Or maybe they do, but probably not. It's hard to say. I think whatever knowledge lies beyond this, it's not really something that you can extrapolate into this reality. If there is something afterwards, I just don't think that there are words for it to describe it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think so. I think that's... Go ahead.
I think it's a defense mechanism for our body to forget and during a traumatic event.
Yeah.
I think it's probably helps conserve our psyche or our ego or whatever, and to help us come back if we are supposed to come back. But,
True.
Yeah. I mean,
I
do believe that. Yeah. Who knows? And I do believe that. I think that there is something that there probably, maybe there probably is something much bigger than you can feel the sense that there is something. Clearly, there's something much greater than this, right? I don't know what it is, but clearly something is creating some kind of order here. Yeah? No? Right? Maybe something, but I don't know what it is, and I wouldn't have the ego to start telling people I know what it is, or I wouldn't really trust a lot of people who are trying to tell me what it is, because I don't know. I think maybe we're just supposed to come up with it ourselves. You know what I mean? Maybe everybody here is supposed to decide the reason we're here. We're all supposed to decide our own reasons why we're here and our own description of why this is happening. I don't know. It's interesting, right? But what I do know is that when people go under anesthesia and are like for big surgeries, when I've done big surgeries, like really big surgeries where you're we're like opening up the face, taking muscles out of one spot, putting it somewhere else, really just dissecting the entire human body as if it is a car, right? Those people are meat on the table. They're not alive. You know what I mean? The anesthesia is as close to death as you can come without dying, right? You're doing things to people you could never do to their bodies when they're alive. And as soon as it's over and they're sutured back up and the anesthesia wears off, they're just like, what happened? I'm like, what happened is you were completely opened up and examined. Your whole body was removed in this one section. This, drills were happening, titanium plates were happening, blood control was happening. The anesthesiologist was over there, an anesthesiologist is sort of like basically like the car is out of batteries right now. The car is like out of gas, and you're just like
The car is on
coasting
fire.
it. You're no, it's not
And
out on
there's no
fire. It's
driver
just
on the
like
wheel.
it's just like you've turned off, like the person isn't breathing anymore. You're breathing for them, right? You know, the person's like heartbeat is like only still regulating because you're controlling the blood pressure. You know what I mean? You're just like trying to just drive this car that's almost dead until you can get to the exit and get to the gas station, put some more gas in it, you know, jump start it, and like that's when the anesthesia ends. It's like when you get to the gas station and like can jump start and put it back together. But you know, they have no idea what happened. They'll never know what happened. They are gone, and it's like you took the USB stick out, put it on the table, and then stuck it back in. So
Right.
I don't know, not to be morbid. It's interesting. But something something is something bigger is at work, but I don't know how to describe it. Any other thoughts?
Great question to start it off with.
I know,
Yeah.
right? I got a more
Quiz
lighthearted
is-
one
Quiz
here
is-
for you here in a
Quiz
minute.
is ridiculous. He's got the best. He's got a
Quiz
a
is the
wonderful
best.
mind. Oh
Also-
my God! Really quick. Quiz hung out with Quiz last weekend. Me and Fiber and Aiden Chick and Discaholic, and it was a real fun vapor-filled weekend. And actually, like the night before that, I went to go see Sierra Mist play in Philadelphia.
I
So,
saw your
Joel, you gotta-
story. That
you gotta
looked
come
awesome.
to Philadelphia, buddy. Joel, you've got to come to Philadelphia.
Want to.
Isaac, you got to come to Philadelphia. You got to play a goddamn Terminally Chill. Okay.
Oh, man,
I want to
that
get
would
you
be
locked down for a
amazing.
future. Oh, that would be amazing. I got to get you locked down. Now, we may potentially be going on hiatus while the Barbary gets refurbished. I don't know yet, but as soon as I know what's going on, I'm locking you down to get on that plane and come see me. And Joel, I got to get you here to Philadelphia as well. We got to get a show set
I
up.
want to come. There's plenty of homies in Philadelphia.
Yeah, there
Hang out
are.
with me and James and everybody else.
There's plenty. Yeah, and I was talking to Vape Bearer about, you know, potential in the future, not set, you know, possible.
Jeff is
possible tour or something like that in the future. That would be awesome.
Yeah, you
Oh my
should,
God.
man.
Jeff
You're-
is a madman. He is going playing every show he could possibly play around the country.
Hey,
Jeff
the man
hits
learned
me
how to
up.
play bass, and now he can do everything.
Jeff hits me up pretty frequently saying, it's like, when are we doing this show in Philadelphia? You let me know. I'm coming down. And I'm like, I'm working on it. I'm just really busy. I'm just trying to get things together. Yes. But Jeff has been playing left and right. He's going to be in Texas with FM Skyline
Oh, that's
soon.
awesome.
In
That's
Nashville, I
my
think.
stomping
Yeah.
grounds. Yeah, Will Wade from
I
iClick
would
threw
love-
that show together.
Oh, that's going to be so. I would love a Golden Living Room tour. That would be phenomenal if that happens.
Yeah, man, close out the night
Yeah,
with
with
some
that.
pensive chill out jams.
Everybody to sleep. Yeah.
I
would.
Casino
love that.
actually has a really good question relating to some work of yours. Casino says,
Okay.
Bathroom Plant says he learned a lot from working with you on 9 Reflections. What do you take away from that collab? Also, 9 Reflections has 13 tracks on it. Fucks up with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good
Well,
question.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well,
Great
first of
question.
all, I'm really glad that people have actually listened to that album because I put my heart and soul into that album. And
Phenomenal album, by the way. Phenomenal album.
Bathroom Plants is the man. He's got it going on. Okay, so we both learned a lot with each other, like communication, organization, and like we just learned together on like how you know an effective collaboration over the internet works, because if you didn't communicate exactly what you wanted, sometimes you would get the result would be pretty weird, or it'd be like, oh my god, like this is not what I wanted. So eventually we got to the point where it was like, you know, very specific in the way that we labeled the tracks and the way that we organized things. And it's not that I was ever like dissatisfied, but it was just like sometimes I would not be able to communicate what I wanted, because most of the time I was communicating, I was, you know, in between classes or something, like, you know, texting
Word.
or, you know, sending direct messages on stuff. But yeah, I learned so much about organizational skills from that album, and also just finding somebody whose ear matches up with mine so well. Like it was like a match made in heaven. And
That's awesome.
It was one of those things that I was literally like, I had an intentional like, I want someone to come into my life that will help me finish an album. And I thought that the day before, and I said it out loud. And then the next day it was an email from him, and I was like, okay,
Oh, that's too cool.
it's an omen.
Wow.
And then the 13 tracks thing, yeah, that album was very based off of a conceptual thing that I was into at the time. And there's a whole bunch of like numerology and things that I was interested in at the time. I'm not so much anymore, but yeah. If you ever want to like,
Numerology. Huh.
yeah.
I love that very much. I love the curious attitude that you have towards making music and exploring ideas. That's actually, a thing that I think is a very cool thing about you, Joel, is how you can throw yourself into these different ideas and mysterious concepts and, make this art to explore them. You know what I mean? And just to go through these concepts and to sort of communicate what you're feeling at that time in this artistic manner. It's the curiosity and the wonder sort of just shines through in the music. And, there's a lot of depth going on and you can feel it just through the rhythms and the textures and the art. Yeah,
I've luckily found like saying that don't do anything that you don't like, sort of, and also I've kind of realized that I've got this sort of like hyper fixation thing. I mean I didn't realize that was a word until like about a month ago. Hyper fixation.
Oh wow.
And I've had a lot of people tell me that I exhibit a lot of qualities of someone with ADHD, which I feel like is, I don't know, being targeted at me right now on like social media. But anyway, aside from that, my parents have always, kind of laughed at how I was growing up and how I get super fixated on certain things. And so once I realized that about myself with the music, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go with this and just go. I'm not going to stop. And I'm going to keep doing it until it feels, until I'm bored with it. And that's kind of how it, that's kind of underwhelming way to put it. But I was in it 100%. And I was really feeling everything that I was into at that time that concept album was coming out. Like I was believing in everything.
Oh wow.
I was really in the headspace of everything that I was into.
That's beautiful. I think that's beautiful that when you come into a feeling for something, I think a lot of people come into feelings or interests and they try and push it aside and they say, no, this isn't appropriate, or no, I shouldn't do this right now. And they try and restrict themselves. Whereas you are like, I am feeling this. This is interesting to me. I'm going to open myself up to it and go with it until the feeling passes.
Right.
And then it will be completed. And I think that's maybe why you're able to say things like, I need to find somebody to work with who I can do this collaboration with that will be a good person to do this with. And I'm not going to like go out of my way to really fight hard to find that and interview. I'm going to just see if it happens. And then it does happen. Or rather than people say, oh, it's ADHD, it's hyperfixation, you got an issue here. And you're like, no, I'm going to let my mind travel where it belongs to go at this time, and I'm going to see what it creates, and eventually, the wavelength of my existence will move me towards something else, and then I will know that the time is over, and I will move to something else. And I think that's really a really great way to be.
It's taken some time to realize that, and like the people around me have taken some time to like get used to, like, oh, Joel's in a phase right now, like. Like, oh, sure, Joel, yeah. Tell me about the Beach Boys again. Yeah, what is it that you love so much about the Beach Boys?
Okay.
Right now?
Somebody asked what your favorite dad rock band was in chat. So I guess that answers that, unless you have another.
That one.
No, it's Beach Boys now.
Beach Boys. That's very cool.
Anybody who's friends with me on Facebook probably knows that, or hasn't unfollowed me because I talk too much.
I was going to say, that's low-key why you're on the show right now. You and I have been on Facebook for ages, so glad that happened.
Yeah.
So there you go, chat. Beach Boys.
Yep, Beach Boys. And it got to the point where my private students, they just sort of like roll their eyes when
oh, that's funny.
This bleeds into work too, huh?
I'm like, you guys, I have the song and it hits everything that you want. And they're like, Joel, it's a Beach Boys. Like, well, it is, but I tell you, it's the best.
That's funny.
I think the fact that you do throw yourself into the things that you are curious about at that time really speaks to your authenticity. Do you know what I mean? That you're into this is what you want to speak about, this is what you want to share, and you're doing it at home and at work and on Facebook with your friends and, here right now on Hot Takes. And I think that speaks to authenticity.
Sure.
I agree.
Yeah, I try to be, like, though I have many names.
No guilty pleasures for this guy.
Yes,
Oh,
Mr.
no
Camacho,
way.
you do have many names.
Hey,
Whether
speaking
you're
of names, if you don't mind me
Camacho or
asking,
Kachori
somebody asked recently in
it-
chat where the name Golden Living Room came from.
Yeah, Enrail just asked that question.
Yeah, great question, Enrail.
Shout
Thank
out
you.
Unrail.
Shout out Enrail,
Love
one of our
him.
mods.
Love
Yeah.
Enrail.
Well, I could segue us into a whole new section here, but I'll
Do it.
try to keep it simple.
If you
Whatever
want, if
man.
you insist.
Go where you feel. Go where you feel, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, okay, so my dad brought home a Sega Genesis in like 98 or something.
Very cool.
1998. I was always like a generation or two behind in the console game
Same.
because I wasn't like, my parents weren't like super wealthy or anything, or not even wealthy. We just we didn't have a whole lot of money, so whenever
Same.
whenever you know a new generation of system would come out, I would have my friends who could afford it. They would be like, "Hey, I don't want my Genesis anymore because I have a Saturn or I have a Dreamcast
Right.
or whatever." So they would give me their old games and systems, and I would play them in my living room downstairs because that was where the TV was at the time, and that window, the living room has 5 windows and it faces the east, so that it just blasts you with sunlight in the morning, especially in the winter. And
Oh, wow.
so you would get up, I mean, especially like during a time of break, like right now is winter break for a lot of kids and a lot of students, and like
An idyllic time.
Right, you stay up late, you play video games, you wake up with the sun because, you know, I don't know how many people can sleep with the sun coming through. And my dad's passive aggressive way of getting me to wake up would be to open up the shades and start making coffee
yeah.
and making noises and stuff.
Mine
So-
would come in my room and yell if you're still there in chat, Philip Pippin. But anyways, he would yell,
But
"Get
yeah.
up, get up, get up!" Anyways,
So the continuous background noise of the JRPGs going, and like how it just goes on a continuous loop over and over and over, mixed with that golden light that's like ciphering through, and you're in that like kind of hypnotic state of like watching the screen, like you're in a whole entire environment with like. Sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but if you get so focused on a movie or something, you start to see like sort of like phosphenes or whatever happening around in your vision. Or if you stare at something for too long, like at the sun, and you close your eyes and you can see that that vision. So that kind of thing kind of starts to happen all around. And it happened to me today, actually. I was watching some Avengers movies that I hadn't seen, and I was like aware of like this kind of like glowing mist around me, and I was like, I'm in a space right now that I could totally create.
I love
this.
that.
Is the
Wow, love that.
this is the feeling
that.
right here. I wanted to get up and like just go and make music, but I was committed to hanging out with my wife at the moment, so I was like, no, I'm gonna stay.
Aw.
But
she better
but,
keep you around.
well, yeah, balance is everything. But anyway,
True.
So yeah, the golden environment, and like I continued to like emulate that throughout my life, and I didn't really know why I was doing it. It was just like I always wanted the lights low in my room. My classroom actually has like 12 lamps that have 5-watt bulbs in them, and like
Oh,
Christmas
I love
light.
that. I love
like
that.
I have like essential oils kind of going in like a diffuser, and so when the kids come in, it's like it's music time, bros, gals, let's go.
Music time,
I
bros.
love lamps.
Wow,
The
you-
only reason I have this overhead light on is so that I don't go blind staring at this screen.
You
Yeah.
really do, manufacture an entire environment for yourself, huh? When it's
I
like
do.
music time, I like that because
Yeah.
it seems like you're aware of the things that put you into that energy wavelengths to create, and you've like zeroed in on them a little bit, and you're like, okay, we do the lights like this, we do the essential oils like this. This is going to bring out that particular wavelength inside of me that's going to be creative.
I remember
Yeah,
you
like-
mentioning in text before we even agreed to have you on. You were talking. Maybe it was right after. You were like, "I love natural light." I mean, even the picture that we used for the promo was a picture of you right behind the sun, and you said it was at a cave in Arkansas.
Yeah.
You mentioned that
Beautiful.
there's a pond where you said that you can get lights reflection off the water. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's something. It's kind of turned into a whole like way of life. If anybody I think it was like one person that from the vaporwave scene that follows me on Snapchat. But my Snapchats are full of weird like reflections. Even some of that has bled into TikTok. I've created a few TikToks, and put some of my music in the background. But
Very cool.
yeah, like reflections, shadows, sunlight, glimmer, weird like energy refracting, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm fascinated by it. Like letting the sunlight into your eyes, but not blinding you. And then,
Right.
like, I don't know. It's very inspiring for me.
Beautiful.
I'm always going for that feeling that like kind of takes me out of my head, because I'm in my head a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So trying to get out of my head sometimes.
We got a backlog of amazing questions in the chat.
I mean, that's like, there's already so many.
Did you have a question you want to ask him first?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I want to get some of these questions done.
I know,
chat,
right?
actually, right now,
There's
because,
a one really far
shockingly,
back.
It's already 10:50. Jesus Christ!
I know. Can you believe it?
Can
Somebody
you get some of these questions?
Yeah,
ready?
I actually have them copied. Somebody says, does GLR have any influences who don't sound anything like his music?
Well. Keith Sweat.
Okay,
Keith
very
Sweat.
cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love Keith Sweat.
Bone Thugs and
A
Harmony.
little Bone Thugs and Harmony. We talked about that.
Bone Thugs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Devendra Banhart.
Okay, a little folk rock there. All right.
Yeah, that's Jory Camacho is very, very inspired by
Jory's.
Devendra Banhart. So Jory Camacho is what I've titled my music that actually I started making before Golden Living Room.
No way.
Kind of
Okay,
like
that's
on back
cool.
and retitled it that. It used to be called Cachero, and then it was called Luminous Spirit, and then I changed it to Jory Camacho. But I'm still making lots of Jory Camacho music. Let's see. I really like Steely Dan. I'm not like a super fan of Steely Dan, but my parents listen to a lot of them.
Gotcha.
Joanna Newsom.
I love Joanna Newsom.
Yeah. I like lots of folk.
Yeah, man. A little Andrew Bird, maybe. A little My Morning Jacket.
Yeah. Oh yeah, My Morning Jacket.
Some Bright Eyes, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
Brass cut.
Sufjan, you like Sufjan Stevens?
Oh yeah, of course.
I love Sufjan.
Michigan.
Very cool.
That's my favorite album. Yeah, Michigan.
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah, I could go on, but anyway.
You could.
Yeah.
Going back to a question, you mentioned JRPGs. I have to ask, how would you rank the Final Fantasies?
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna go off the U.S. releases because their schedules were all weird and Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
they were.
II
Let's
was
please
really
use the
Final Fantasy
Japanese
IV.
releases.
I'm going to. Yeah, so it goes like this for me. It goes Final Fantasy IV,
Okay, good.
Final Fantasy VIII,
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy XI, Final Fantasy
MMOs.
XIV.
Okay.
Yeah. I could argue that Final Fantasy XI is the best in all the world.
That's
And
James's favorite.
yeah, James Webster would
Webster's
back me
favorite.
up on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, him and I. That's one of our major bonding points. It's Final Fantasy XI and Phantasy Star Online. But yeah, 4. Okay, I like 4 because of the nostalgia.
4 is amazing. Did you play the DS port?
I did a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, but I really played the cartridge like to death.
That's
Like, I played-
amazing.
I would play it over and over.
Final Fantasy
like,
2.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 2, the red label. Yeah,
Right.
And I really liked 8, even though I didn't actually play 8 until I was an adult. I watched it played in its heyday from my best friend, and the same with 7.
That's good, because it's hard. It's like,
yeah.
you need a little bit of background before you can jump into 8.
Yeah, and 7, I still have not beat 7, even though it's one of my favorites.
Wow.
I love going to the point where you meet what's her name? Aerith? Yeah, where you meet Aerith, like in that village at the very beginning, and like when you fall through the roof.
Yeah,
and you fall
of the
in.
church.
Yeah, and the song is called "Flowers Blooming in the Church." Oh, bliss.
Yeah.
If you want to
beautiful.
if you want to feel the vibe that I feel, listen to that "Flowers Blooming in the Church" from Final Fantasy VII.
Have you played the remake?
I have. Oh no,
Did you like-
actually, funny, so funny that you asked that. My private student, who's doesn't even meet on Mondays, came after work at 7. Okay, so it's almost 10 here, but he came at like
Right.
7:15, and he's like, "Hey, I got something for you," and he brought me Final Fantasy VII Remake and another Square Enix JRPG for Christmas.
Is it
And-
Dragon Quest 11?
No, it's not. I have to go look. I can't remember what
Okay.
it's called. I'd have to go look. But he brought me those, and I literally almost bought Final Fantasy VII.
He just gave them to you?
He did. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Well,
sick.
Right. He's been a student of mine for a long time, and he left
Okay.
for several years, and then he came back, and like I just realized like this dude is more like my friend. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
yeah, I can
badass,
teach,
dude.
I can teach
That's
you
a-
stuff, but you're just like a cool dude.
That's
sick,
really
dude.
a phenomenal thing to have a student return to you as like a peer. You know, that's
Yeah.
got to be very rewarding.
Yeah, he's a great dude. He's great.
Sounds like
anyway, yeah. So
Oh.
that was like really, really thoughtful. I was just like,
Yeah, it is.
you know me.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful thing to feel like, you know,
So
you've
4, 8, and
touched on
7, okay.
someone that you taught and probably shaped the life of a little bit, you know, and definitely shaped the life of a little bit, you know, or a lot of it maybe, you know, has come back and, you know, like you really changed, you really touched them and they wanted to bond with you further and, you know, and now
Yeah.
they're your peer. That's an amazing thing that you were part of that person's growth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a human,
Right.
that's what you do as a teacher. That's fascinating.
Yeah, that's meaningful.
Look, we have a lot of big questions, and I do think that we owe it to these people.
Yeah, I had to
to
do my
come
little
get them.
geek out session. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I
For
want you to get
record,
back
I would
to
rank
it,
it
but,
10,
like-
9, 3. Anyways, moving right along.
Do you see like this one from Indie Advin right here? Are there any particular
Yeah.
current musical or art trends that you aren't fond of or would change / rethink the scope of? And then we gotta get to the Bulgarian Zoomers question.
Oh yeah, I have that one
That
copied.
person is 5 in the morning right now for
Yeah.
them, right? I really
Yeah.
want their question. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Let's
The
start with
Indie-
Indie, and then we'll get to Bulgarian Zoomer.
Yeah, let me read that. Can you read
Indy
that question
says,
one more time?
are there any particular current musical or art trends that you aren't fond of or would change / rethink the scope of?
I don't like country rap.
I don't think anybody does.
I don't like the blending of those genres, though. But that goddamn song "Fancy Like" by Walker Hayes, I hate it so much. So much, I hate it. But at the same time,
I've not
it's
heard
just-
it and I don't want to.
It's a great,
I
it's a
don't know
great,
it.
it's a great fucking song. I mean, I hate it though. So that's my whole family.
That's
likes
maturity right there. You can admit that it's
So-
good, but you don't like it.
It. Right. I hate. It just makes it hurts. It's so bad it hurts, but it's also good. So
That's funny.
I don't like. And really Walker Hayes in general. That guy just rubs me the wrong way. The way that he enunciates his words, just God. Anyway, and I really hate praise music. No offense to anybody who likes praise music. God, I hate it so much. It's the worst. It's literally the worst. And the problem is like I have a very I come from a religious family. Like
Me
on
too.
Both sides of my
We
like
talked
on
about
both sides
that.
of my family and my wife's family, and I like lots of pastors. And my brother-in-law is a pastor, and lots of like very great people. And my brother-in-law just like he's the best, and he really feels it. And so when he asks me to play, I die a little bit inside because I hate the music so much. But I
We
do
love
it.
him.
I do it because I love him, and then I always end up having a good time. And so I'm just like, I gotta maybe this is what everyone else is feeling, you know? Like they just latch onto that feeling, and they don't let their head get in the way because my head gets in the way too much.
That's
LMAO.
really interesting. People maybe do. Well, that's an interesting concept. I think that's what a
It
lot of
is.
people do. Sort of like I think a lot of people are just like, you know, they don't self-examine. They go with the experience and they move from there and they kind of stay out of their head maybe. And I
Yeah.
don't know if that's good or bad to do all the time. I mean, we all have to do it, right? But I feel like if you could live your life completely like that, I don't know. You may not ever know who you exactly are.
Right. Yeah, it's a little shattering sometimes, and like I feel this song is good, but I fucking hate it up here.
Bruh.
the beat is good. Okay, listen to the fucking Fancy Like song. Just listen to it, and you can hate it as much as
LMAO.
me. You can hate it. Go ahead.
That's funny. Hey, speaking of music, not that you hate, but that you love, we actually almost skipped a couple of really good questions by Pacific
Oh my
Plaza.
gosh, sorry.
Shout
Yeah,
out Pacific
yes,
Plaza.
yes, definitely
I hope
get
you
back
saw
to
our
Alex's
little
question.
intro screen. Pacific Plaza said, well, he has a two-parter. He wants to know what your favorite 70s Beach Boys album is, and he wants to know what your love you. Okay. He wants to know what your favorite
That was
Beach Boys.
correct.
What is your favorite Beach Boys solo album?
If I was a hipster, I would say Pacific Ocean Blue by Dennis Wilson, but I honestly don't like Pacific Ocean Blue more than I like. Well, technically, Love You is a solo album, technically, but if I'm being if I'm being like real about the solo album, my favorite Beach Boys solo album would be, well, technically Pet Sounds is a solo album too. But anyway,
Brian
I'm not going to go
Wilson,
into
right?
the technicalities. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Brian Wilson is. I think it's a self-titled 1988. Even though I don't really like it that much, it's probably the best. Is it the best? Yeah, probably. It's probably the best. It's got songs like I wonder why. What's the name of that song? Anyway, yeah. There's some good stuff on the Brian Wilson. His like first official solo album, but really technically Pet Sounds was the first one, and the second one was Love You. And yeah. I know, me too. Pacific Plaza said, I was and remain a hipster since 2006, and I know. I kind of am too. Like, I recently fell back, like, to kind of wean myself off of Beach Boys, I went to back to Animal Collective, because...
Oh, we talking about Animal Collective?
Yeah, I was pretty hardcore into Animal Collective.
Rank the Animal Collectives.
Okay. Okay. Sung Tonks.
That's right. That's the only correct answer.
Yeah, Sung Tongs, Odd Sack.
Proud owner of Odd Sack on DVD.
Yeah, I don't know that a lot of people would agree about Odd Sack. It's not really musical, but the two musical songs on there, I would say,
Mr. Hands and the What Happened song.
Yeah, and Screens.
Okay.
Some tongues for me as well.
It's away. Anyway, yeah.
Okay. What was the Bulgarian hipster?
Yeah, let's get to. I copied it. It's right here. Could Golden Living Room share the backstory and meaning of the covers of New Nostalgia and Welcome Home albums?
Yes, John Moe Productions is the name of the artist who did those covers. John Moriarty. He is a multimedia artist, but did some collage work. Does collage work, physical collage work, where he literally gets a really nice ass pair of scissors and cuts out stuff from old magazines and pieces it together. And sometimes would just piece them together and then photograph it and then or scan it, and then he could move parts around and change it if he liked.
He does phenomenal work.
Thanks for the link, Lux.
I actually didn't know that he did those album covers. I remember, I remember his work and on Tumblr and such. I would follow that back in the day,
Tumblr.
in those early 2010s days. He did phenomenal stuff.
Right, he was great. And so he was a part of Midwest Collective.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you about Midwest Collective.
Yeah,
you have a lot of stuff on there.
He's Midwest Collective. Yeah.
Yeah, Midwest Collective started in like 2013.
Yeah, he's done a lot of the covers of their.
He's done a lot of the covers for them. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I got to know who he was.
Very cool.
That's
I didn't know
Shout
that.
out Midwest Collective, by the way.
Yeah,
for sure.
Nat with Midwest Collective. Yeah.
Oh,
we all and Home. It was like Home.
Noah Scene O'Neill.
Yeah, all those guys. We were
Apple
all in
II / Glamour Shots.
Yeah, we were all in there, and it was all sort of just like.
Thank you for the link, Lux.
It was really great, and he did all those albums. He did all those album covers for free too. We were just in the time. It was just like we were in a place of creation. You know what I mean? Like it was like we all just contributed our stuff and weren't expecting to make any money at that time.
Correct. Absolutely.
And I would just flood the poor guy with just walls of text about what I was thinking.
Love it.
I love it.
TVs and living room, light, and he was just like, he would sit there and like digest it after, an hour or so and be like, okay, I think I got some ideas. And then he'd come back like a week or 2 or 3 later and be like, hey, this is what I came up with. And it was perfect every time. It was like
perfect melding of imaginations.
Yeah, like he that guy, like, there's certain artists, man. There's certain people that just click with me so easily. All I got to do is tell him. August River, who's in the chat right now.
August River is just shit.
Yeah, August River is one of those artists that I've worked with closely and that just understands me. August knows about the wall of text because August did the.
August is so cool to hang out with in person. By the way.
Yeah, did the album artwork for 9 Reflections, which is it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Anyway, the same thing. It's just wall of text of this is what I'm thinking about. This is the concepts that I'm on. This is the dream I had. This is the the feeling. I can't really describe it in words. This is a picture that describes it, you know. And then I would send him like 500 pictures or whatever, and these artists would just sort of like kind of take my stream of consciousness wall of like media and then turn it into something beautiful.
Never underestimate the power of visual art in vaporwave. I mean, obviously we have the whole quote-unquote aesthetic thing, but visual artists in vaporwave are unfortunately a little underappreciated. Not just people who do album artwork, but visualists for the live streams as well. Definitely need a lot more kudos and a lot more public appreciation. They may not be musicians. What did you say?
Yes.
I.
Yeah, we actually had iClick on, if that's who you're referring to. We actually had iClick on the show. Will and Nathan were a lot of fun.
Yeah, they were real fun.
A lot of fun to hang out with.
So much
Will's
fun
actually done my visuals during the Rosewood Night of the DJ event where I opened for Lipstick Elite and DJ Sabrina the Teenage DJ. And he knocked it out of the fucking park. Hell yeah, dude. Lipstick Elite for life.
The Lipstick Elite album. I'm sorry. Let me fanboy for a minute, please.
Oh my god. I can't.
That album. Okay, I was traveling.
Also, just really quick, I just want to mention, shout out once again to August River. He actually did the cover art for my single, Work It Out by Skeleton Lipstick.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's
sick as fuck.
So the cover art for the single, Work It Out by Skeleton Lipstick is also by August B. River, the man himself. August Cove on.
I have a giant bumper sticker that August made of like a DS with like a giant like tower, like ending like final dungeon tower that I believe was made for Gangjita. Amazing artist.
It's August_Cove. I think it's his Instagram.
Yeah, somebody link August Rivers Insta.
I'll put it in.
Thank you.
So I meant to jump in and say that I didn't interrupt. But
he changed his handle to Hex.Fantasia. He just posted in the chat.
Okay. Never mind. There it is then. Glad you posted. Oh, he's in chat. Sweet.
Yeah, August has been here since we
phenomenal
started.
Artist. I've worked with him as well. I've had the pleasure of him creating a wonderful piece for me as well. It was a real honor. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, Lipstick Elite. I mean,
sorry.
If you haven't listened to Lipstick, I'm sorry. I just really gotta say it. It's phenomenal. It's so good.
Thank you so much.
I listened to that album so much, so many times, and I regretfully sold the original edition cassette. I
never even had the original edition cassette.
I sold it to get to ElectroniCON 1. Did.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I did. Along with my OG Telepath collection.
Wow. I hate that.
Yeah.
Somebody should have started a GoFundMe.
I would give you a copy myself if I had any copy myself. Yeah, Keith did the cover art. Keith Rankin did the cover art for that too.
Yeah. It's beautiful artwork too.
But of course, it did get re-released on cassette tape and.
She has a copy.
Yeah, it did get re-released.
Did
it get released on cassette? It got released, on vinyl by My Plet Flamingo. So that's good.
Yes. Oh, man, I have some news. I'll share it at the end.
Hey, you can share it now, but yeah, we do have a little shout-out section.
You can wait till the shout-out section at the end if you like.
I'll wait. Great. But it involves My Pet Flamingo.
Phenomenal, great.
Very cool.
Thank you for listening to Lipstick Elite, and I really appreciate that. I try to do a little pop structure into the vaporwave world with that. And,
actually used that song in a DJ set I did for another Rosewood event. I did a chillwave set, and I used
I remember.
Yeah, feels like life. Yeah, man. I didn't even fade that song in. I just started right with the do 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 do. Yeah. And I just thought it worked. That's the song, man. I think
Lux is phenomenal at working with samples.
Oh yeah, yeah. Lux is in chat. I'm sure you noticed already, Joel. So
no one is better.
Yeah,
you got both of your.
Lux and I collaborated one time on a track.
Yes, that's correct.
On the name of the album is it Moods? No, what's the name of the album? Anyway, I can't remember.
I know she'll pop up with a link in about 10 seconds.
Right. But the song we collaborated on is called Signal, and there was supposed to be a collaboration that was going to happen in 2013, back when I got that Jory badge.
That's funny.
And she sent me like a couple of echo jams, and I couldn't do it because, like I said, I gotta believe in it, and that particular loop I just didn't. Not that I didn't believe and like her music. It was just that I didn't believe that I could do it. I
feel that.
I waited, and then I was like, hey, I don't know if I ever said to her directly that I can't work with this loop. I was just like, I can't do it. So she sent me something a little bit more ambient later on.
She just linked it. Signal. Go
Oh,
Living
yeah.
Room remix.
Oh, world class. Oh, yeah. Oh god, you should listen to that sometime if you really want to get zoned out.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Because
It's
there's
great.
a quote. There's a
Fucking
quote from
love
the
that.
Philip K. Dick book. And
Okay.
then, you will have to stop waiting for me because I will never stop waiting for you, or something like that. It's great, and it just loops over and over and over, and then it shifts and goes
Sounds
lower
like a
and
lovely
lower and lower.
Telepath song title.
Wow.
Yeah. You will have to stop searching for me because I will never stop searching for you. You will have to stop searching for me because I will never stop searching
That's
for you.
beautiful.
You will have to
Oh
stop
my
searching
God,
for me
I
because I'll
love
never
it.
stop searching for you. And it just goes, and it starts higher and it gets lower and lower and lower, and the
Oh,
brainwaves
I gotta
are
hear
like
that.
going in the background, like the brainwave generator thing or whatever. The binaural beats are going, and it's just like.
Do you have any favorite ambient or drone artists you wanna like name drop? I mean, I was a huge Tim Hecker fan back in undergrad. You make a lot of ambient music. I'm curious if you have any favorites.
I do. I'd need to look at a YouTube playlist really fast. Give me 1 second.
All right,
Because-
well, sorry.
I'm
That
a big fan of
that one is
Stars
not
of the
a
Lid.
chat question. Stars of the Lid.
No, that's
okay.
fine. That's fine.
Star of
I-
the Lid is a good one. Illuvium. You guys ever listen to that guy?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. Lululem's great. The Golden Retriever is very good as well.
Ooh, I like
Yeah,
Golden
it's
Retriever.
Not her
yeah.
Golden
phenomenal
Retriever.
texture. Oh, check them out. They got some phenomenal, beautiful, like stacked up, shimmery drones that go on in that. And I'm a big fan of like the shimmery drone.
Oh,
right?
bro,
Yeah.
have you heard the Blackmouth Super Rainbow side project? I think it's called Seven Fields of Aphelion.
Yes.
It's the guy's wife. It's real good, right?
really good.
Very
yes.
like proto emeralds almost, but like you know.
I like. Okay, here's a good one.
Yeah, let's hear some names.
Real quick.
Give me some fucking
I
names.
had it. Yeah, I had it right here. Okay, I like. Where'd it go? I like Hiroshi Yoshimura. Like anything.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
I
not
like
heard
that.
guy's work.
I like Hiromi Hosono.
Oh, Hiromi Hosono, I mean,
Yeah,
but his
from
career is
Primo.
so storied, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's done so many different things. Like, I'm a big
Sure.
fan of Phil Har, you know, what's it called? Phil.
Watering a Flower is my favorite ambient work of his. It just kind of like loops over and over. It's heavenly. I really like I like Ryuichi Sakamoto's ambient work as well.
Of course.
There's a lot more. I can think of the album cover.
And we got some deep cuts, dog.
That's Phil Harmony. That's the
Thank
album
you
I
for
wanted
the
to play
link, Lux.
by Harumi Hosono. It's Phil Harmony, which is a little bit more of the pop album he made
Yeah.
back in the 80s. That's got like the song Sportsman on it, which is you know, like my favorite song ever.
Yeah. Be a sportsman.
That's it. Yeah, I can't tell you how inspiring that song was for me.
Yeah,
especially,
I love it.
especially in early Skeleton Lipstick work for sure.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
We got a couple questions in the chat. I gotta
Sure.
shout out real quick. Pacific Plaza always has good ones. He says, Joel, what draws you toward using a guitar in your live performance, and what's your guitar setup like?
Okay. I have two. Okay. All right. There was this kid in
Okay.
elementary school, picked on me all the time. There was a group of them, and they used to just make my life miserable. And so I hated this guy, but he was also sort of like two-faced, and his parents were like friends with my parents. So like every once in a while, I would get like invited over to his house, and he would be
I
nice to me.
hate that
Oh,
shit.
Yeah.
no.
I think we all come on. I think a lot of us
Yeah.
probably have been through this, particularly if we're like artistic types. I've like
Yeah.
dealt with that kid in middle school that is mean to you on the bus or whatever, or mean to you at school, but like he's in your neighborhood, and like so
Yeah.
occasionally like your family goes to see them, or you see them at like I don't know, like church or
Yeah.
something, and then everybody pretends like, oh, we're all friendly with each other. It's
Right.
what we
Wait until
hate
all
when-
the
when
adults' backs are
when
turned,
the adults
and
are
then they try
around,
to
you know,
drown you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But then like when you're in front of like kids, you know what I mean, or you're in school or in the hallway, they knock the books out of your hands.
Right. so this kid was one of those, and
I know
like,
about I know about that world.
he invited me over to like a sleepover or something.
Oh no.
Like,
Oh,
but it was like
God.
there was a couple of my friends that were my real friends that were going,
Oh,
and
nice.
like
Okay.
so
thank
they were
God.
like sort of like a buffer.
Yeah.
But I got there and they were playing some like game that I didn't want to play, and I just felt like sort of alienated from the group. And but I knew he had a guitar, and so
Oh.
I just went and like went into his room when everybody else was playing and just played "Smells Like Teen Spirit," like figured it out.
Sick.
And then I would fake be nice to him at school, so he would invite me over, and then I would go and play his guitar, and he'd be like, "Dude, are we gonna like play, or are we gonna like do this?" I'm like, "Oh no, just give me a couple minutes," and I would just I started to use him for his guitar, and then
Oh, you got back.
I did. He was
Nice.
such a dick. He was really, really mean. Anyway, he got his finger blown off a couple years ago. At
Goddamn.
fireworks, so it's kind of like whatever. Anyway, but so kind of get what you deserve. But anyway, that led, and I told my dad I wanted to play guitar, and he was like, "No, you may not." And I was like, "Well, I really want a guitar." He's like, "Well, I don't want you getting into rock music." Like I said, my parents are very conservative.
Same.
Growing-
We talked
growing
about
up.
that a little bit before the
Yeah.
show.
And so he's like, "I don't want you getting into rock music." And so I said, "I'm going to get into rock music, Dad. I just want a guitar." So he buys me that Christmas a fucking Washburn metal guitar with a American metal pedal, pink pedal. I'm like, "Dad, you're a contradiction." And so what do? I get into rock music. So started
There you
listening
go.
to Nirvana, Nirvana and stuff like that. I was really into Nirvana and other stuff.
Is this how you found that you were really into music? Is this like the first really big experience you had with
Yeah.
making music and finding that you were enamored with the process of creating it and
Right.
and making sounds in general? Like,
When I
was it-
realized that I had the ability to like I've always had really good rhythm and pitch, and so like when I realized I could just like translate that to the guitar really fast, I kind of latched onto that. And so then my dad, he continued to buy me. He bought me an acoustic a couple years later, so I had an electric and an acoustic. I
Aw,
started
came around a
started
little
rock.
bit.
Yeah, I started a rock band. I did exactly what he didn't want me to do. And he
Damn.
was just loving and
Fascinating.
supportive
All
the
that
whole time.
golden rocky
Wow.
roll music.
Yeah, he was. But my parents, that's the thing. They were a contradiction themselves because they were hardcore hippies in the 60s and 70s, and then like had a come to Jesus.
They had the
period.
Jesus freak movement.
Yeah, they had a come to
Yeah.
Jesus period, and then they chilled out, and they were really cool. My parents are dope. Anyway,
Very cool.
yeah, and so I continued with music, and I actually got my undergrad and my master's in guitar performance.
Oh, you have a master's.
and-
Very cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I knew that actually. That's right.
Yeah.
I
So
forgot.
Impressive.
So I studied a lot of jazz music as well, like jazz guitar.
Oh shit.
But I don't really think of myself
Holy
as a
shit.
good. I don't think of myself as a guitar player. Like a fucking like. Sorry, I this might offend people. Oh, here's a good hot take. I hate
let's
guitar
hear it.
players.
Oh
God, I hate guitar
shit! He
players.
hates guitar
You're the
players.
worst.
Goddamn.
You're the
You hate
worst.
people who define themselves by
Yeah.
the fact that they play guitar, by the fact that they have a lot of knowledge about it, and it's like it's like a personality, substitute almost.
Right, and they
Fair.
like hold their guitar and like will look you dead in the eye and like shred while you're talking. And you're like, "Fuck you, just stop." And
With that like slack jaw.
Be a human.
have a conversation with me. Like
Yeah.
put the instrument down. 'cause I
Enough
know you're not
Wonderwall.
listening.
Let's talk.
Right. So yeah, I hate the cliches. Okay. Now every guitar player has a reason for why they play guitar. Whatever. And I'm
Right.
not judging anybody who's a guitar player. So I don't know anything about guitars. I've had the same guitars. I mean, I have one nice guitar. I have an Eastman Archtop. Eastman ARCE 810 CE. AR 810 CE. Yeah. It's a very nice archtop jazz guitar.
Okay.
I have a Fender Strat that's got a MIDI pickup hooked up to it. Anybody that saw me at ElectroniCON saw that or heard that. That's what I was. All those synth sounds were my guitar, picked up through a GR20. So a Boss GR20 guitar synthesizer, and
Okay.
if I had to pick a guitar, prefer a style of guitar, it's classical guitar.
Okay.
I do play.
Loving
I
this.
do dabble. I dabble in classical guitar technique and stuff. But my first guitar teacher tried real hard to get me to learn how to read music using classical guitar music, and I couldn't do it. I and that was in college. I didn't learn how to read music until like the end of college. Believe that
Oh,
or not.
wow.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah. So, but like I've learned a lot since college. I can read now, of course, but it's yeah. So if I had to pick a guitar, I would pick a classical guitar, and I would be playing some like finger picking bossa nova, possibly mixed with some
Ooh.
psychedelic folk, new weird America, like someone said in the chat.
A little freak folk. Freak
Yeah.
folk. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, that would be me. Like that would be my go-to automatically, or
I
it would
love
be
it.
like the default E piano setting on DX7.
Oh, nice.
Bro, we got a lot of love for your techniques in the chat already. Everybody's
Can I-
geeking out.
Can I ask you, at what point in your musical journey did you start straying away from, I don't know, doing maybe like traditional rock music or traditional guitar work, and start becoming more interested in experimental concepts and experimental music production? Like, when did you start getting into moving away from just playing guitar to even moving away from just doing, I'm gonna compose traditional rock or traditional, pop music, and like, I think I'm gonna start experimenting with some concepts and ideas in the music I write and the way it's produced. Like, when did you really start to go off, the track? Like, I asked this to Keith last time too. Like, well, when did you decide to start, doing more experimental type of sound structures and sound compositions? Like, when did that happen for you, and why?
Okay, so I was really into Nirvana,
Yes.
and I was deep diving in Nirvana. So I was hyper fixated on Nirvana from like age 15 to 18.
Very
And
cool.
I read all the things. I listened to every album, every live performance, like every bootleg I could get my hands on. I got the Kurt Cobain journals, and so I started to look up all of the music he was suggesting in the journals.
Yeah, he's got great. He had
Yeah.
phenomenal taste.
Velvet Underground,
phenomenal taste.
Yeah, and Jimi Hendrix, and there's just a whole bunch of other ones. So I started listening to Jimmy because of Kurt Cobain's recommendation, and I started listening to Velvet Underground because of Kurt Cobain's recommendation, and like Flipper and Pixies, and sort of like punk, and but like Velvet Underground sort of took me there, and then the Beatles, the Beatles as well. Like I really was into the White Album, and I was fascinated by Revolution Number 9, like what's going on here, and like the backwards guitar solo on "I'm Only Sleeping" from Revolver. And
That's right. On Revolver, they reversed the sample for that, or even like what's the last song on Revolver again?
Within You or Without. No.
No, the very last one. It's all just basically it's one chord
Turn
the
off
whole
your
time.
mind
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
and float downstream. Yeah.
It is not dying. It is not. That's all one chord the whole
Right.
song.
Yeah, I liked a lot of Ravi Shankar Indian music as well because of George Harrison. I liked a lot of that stuff, and my parents happened to have listened to all kinds of out there shit as well. And
Very cool.
I was around it a lot, and so then I discovered from Velvet Underground I was like kind of getting more experimental, and then somehow like I wasn't exposed to like the Pitchfork era of like music journalism until I met my roommate, who's also. Hope he's not on this chat, but he was also a real dick to me back in the day. Like, even in college, I had bullies. But
Oh no!
but that dude really, like, if it wasn't for him, like, I would not be on the journey that I'm on now. So that guy really shaped me musically, big time. So,
I had a similar situation.
So he turned me on to Devendra Banhart and Animal Collective and Joanna Newsom and
All
Vetiver
the NWA
and,
stuff.
Yeah. So and from there it just kind of like I got more and more into like ambient, like sort of spaced out folk music, like I don't know. And then let's see, where did it come after Devendra Banhart? Let's see. Oh, and then I started to get into. That's where we're kind of getting to vaporwave here. That's where I discovered the homies at Beer on the Rug.
Very cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of where the experimental, and then
I
like,
love hearing the musical history.
Yeah, after discovering Beer on the Rug, it was like all over from there. In terms of
Did you listen to Oneohtrix Point Never at all?
I kind of wanted to know that too.
I did after the fact. I didn't start listening to
Oh.
Oneohtrix Point Never until like 2014.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Very cool.
Wow, because I think like most of us in the early days, right? That was a lot of the
Back when like
impetus
Russian Mind
behind-
had just come out and shit.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. For me, it
Emeralds
was,
was the wave.
well, sure, for sure. And like you know, I don't, you know, you just sort of, you know, but you know, what happened to me when I heard Oneohtrix Point Never was like I just like like it blew my mind, and then I was like, you know, it's like it really just changed the wave of like you know the chill wave music to. Once it gets like mixed, once the kids who are listening to chill wave music started listening to like Oneohtrix Point Never, like shit just like exploded into this weird experimental world of vaporwave, basically.
Right.
So you didn't until after like 2014. So you're like coming in
maybe
like
even
R
later.
plus 7. Wow. So you're
Yeah.
coming in like R plus 7 maybe or something
R
like
plus
that.
7
yes?
is actually right when is the album
Yeah.
that
Oh, awesome!
I love
R
R plus 7 in,
Yeah.
in Replica.
Chris and I are on the same wavelength about R plus 7.
Yeah, it's so
I'm a
good.
little bit more of a
love
Garden of
them.
Delete guy, but R plus 7 is like
No, R
close
plus 7.
second.
R
Yeah.
plus 7
Like
till
Final
death.
Fantasy 10 and 9, they're constantly fighting
Yeah.
for the best one.
I mean, actually, technically for me, it's like almost like the games album, the games EP, Until Death.
hey,
that was
Tua is in
right.
chat. What's up, Tua?
Oh,
Hey.
Tua, hey, the homie.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy? Love him.
Joel, how many hours a day do you think you would say that you listen to new music? Like, do you do any crate
Well-
digging or like Spotify playlists?
I don't. I this is how I find new music. Well, recently, because I'm so busy. My God, it's
I know
insane.
it's hard once you have kids
I
and
can't
you're married and
imagine.
you work and stuff.
But my private students are the ones that I've sort of like. They have been turning me on to some newer stuff, and I would say probably 2 hours a week. Maybe not even that much. Maybe 1 hour. Maybe not even that much. But I'll get onto some phases every once in a while. I'm trying to really not limit myself. Like this whole Walker Hayes fancy like phenomenon that happened to me. It hurt. It hurt me. It was so bad. God damn. But I was just like, but at the same time, I felt it. So I was like, you know, these other people gotta feel it. They're feeling it, you know. And I was like, every person who's passionate about their style of music, they're feeling it. And so, and that's original, and that's
Yeah.
the intent is pure, and you know they've latched on in that way. So I feel like anything is worth listening to, even I'm sure there's
Even
some good
country
praise
rap?
music. I'm sure there's some good praise music out there. I'm sure.
Sure, there's always the authentic people in any genre of music that's out
Right.
there.
The,
hey, can I ask you, how did you? So you got into the beer. I just really want to get back. You got into the beer and on the rug stuff. Were you listening to I don't know, like chill wave and stuff, and Neon Indian and Washed Out or Tori Moi prior to that?
I
No,
want
I
to
didn't discover Neon
How-
Indian and Tori Moi until 2014 or 2015.
How did
Oh,
you?
wow.
how did you just-
I bet
So
you
how
were an
did you-
Ariel Pink fan, though,
That's
weren't you?
crazy.
No, I didn't get into Ariel.
Really?
I
Oh, I
never-
loved Ariel Pink
Well,
in
I'm just
undergrad.
trying to find how you came to beer on the rug. Like I'm trying to find the bridge there.
Same.
What was the bridge there between
There-
Animal Collective, Evandra Barnhout to like all of a sudden like that weird world of like experimental based strange synthesizers and
Yeah,
weird sample
what was your
music.
first
Where-
vaporwave exposure
where is
ever?
where is the bridge
Here it
here?
is. Here's the bridge. Okay, so I can name this person by name because they are credited on a lot of the Beer on the Rug releases as mastering. So Josh Thomas. Josh
Okay.
Thomas.
Okay, yeah, Josh.
I did a split with Josh in a band called. He had a band called Mule for a little bit of time, but he also had a band called Bodhisattva and a band called High Diving Ponies. And Bodhisattva was in like 2006. I met him on MySpace. He invited me to a show. I wasn't 21. Snuck into the bar. I got kicked out. He tried to vouch for me, and they wouldn't. So they let me stand at the back door, and it was like January. It was like 1 degree outside. I was standing in Kansas City, like watching them play, and he sort of like took me under his wing and like sort of like, hey man, you think you want to be a musician? He invited me over. He recorded us, my band, Notice Everything, in his basement, and gave us our first like official demo that wasn't on a 4-track, and so then I just stayed friends with him, and like anything he did, he was like my mentor. Like anything he did, I would be like, give it to me. Like I would listen to everything he sent me intently. Like
I love it.
And anyway, so then he met Gaurav, who's from Wichita, believe it or not. I'm from Wichita. I'm not from Wichita, but I live in Wichita. And so Gaurav was living in Wichita, grew up in Wichita, and then had moved to Lawrence, Kansas. And so they like met.
Lawrence
their bands
is cool.
met. Yeah, they met. His band's name was Boo and Boo 2, and he played drums in it. Anyway, and they started Beer on the Rug, and so they started releasing music in like '09, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's like Angel One was on there as Casino Gardens or something. No, it wasn't. Casino Gardens, and there was Angel One's project was called something else at the time, and it was all coming out. And Colts, of course, Colts was Josh and Gaurav. Colts was really the bridge. Colts. So Colts was Realizer, or sorry, that was one of the album names. Colts was the real segue, because
Very cool.
I idolized anything that Josh did. So I got super into that, and I was just like, I want to be a part of this world. But they also sort of like dangled that over my head, and I almost in a little. It was a little bit fucked up. If I have to be honest, it was a little bit fucked up. And my wife will still to this day be like, "Dude, Joel, those guys didn't really care about you." But I was at the same time, I was just in this like shock of like, this music is where I need to be. You know what I mean? I had to be there. So I didn't really care what it took. And I was sort of like the annoying little brother to these guys. You know what I mean? So
Interest is so interesting. I had no idea about any of this.
yeah. So then like Laserdisc Visions released, and I didn't notice it at all. Because I was still like digesting Colt's like Theta Distractions and the Casino Gardens album. And then my friends, Gaurav was friends with a lot of my friends who were musicians in Wichita, and like I was already into experimental music at this time. And he put Macintosh Plus, it was up on Facebook in 2012 or 2011, right when it came out, and I listened to it, and that was just, it was over. Yeah. It was
That's
Macintosh
what did
Plus,
it for you.
Yeah,
Very
I
cool.
listened to it, and I did not know about sample-based music. You guys, I'm from a different world here.
Same.
I didn't
We
know-
talked about this.
Yeah, I didn't know
I thought
about
this shit was
sample-based
all original.
music. I did too.
And
I thought it
FM
was.
Skyline actually said that in an interview one time. He thought it was all
Yeah.
original, and that's
did
why
too.
he started making the music that he makes.
Yeah, I thought it was all original, and I thought it was a group of like 40-year-old dads in their basement playing music and like making it sound all weird, and it gave me
Like
this
the
weird...
Tim and Eric minivan song.
Yeah. So, and I grew up with so much Sade that like when I heard the Sade Echo Jams, I was just like, it hit my soul. You know what I mean? So when I realized that was Sade, I was like, so that's when I started working on. And then I listened to Laserdisc Visions. It was Laserdisc Visions that really made me decide Golden Living Rooms.
That album's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was-
And then it was the spring of 2013 that I really Golden Living Room had started in 2011, but I did not release anything until 2013. In spring of 2013 was when March, I was just listening to that Laserdisc Visions album. That's the only thing I would listen to, and my wife was just going fucking insane. She's like, "You gotta play something else."
What was it?
Laserdisc Visions. I mean, all I did
that
was play it
album.
over.
Yeah.
All I did was
Yeah.
play Laserdisc.
Well, you know the opening, the Dream Nights into Dreams, dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun dun
Yeah.
dun.
There
Oh,
was
that
so
the-
much Nights into Dreams sampled in that album.
Yeah, so that was my first son, who's 8 now. That was his, like, I would play it every single time he was taking a bath. I would start that song, and then I would play the whole Laserdisc Visions album.
Oh, that's so
he came to
interesting.
like expect it. So like I would put on that song.
That's
and, like, now-
adorable.
even now as an 8-year-old, he's like, I'll play it, and he's like, it's the bath time song.
Somebody's gonna grow up
so
with
funny.
vaporwave as their like nostalgia. Can you believe that?
I know, isn't that fucking
That is
crazy?
so.
That's
oh my
going to be
God.
their nostalgia. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice work. Hey,
Yeah,
what is
so-
what is your preferred method of listening to music? Do you have like a system you use, or do you do headphones, Bluetooth speakers?
Okay, so I would be doing dishes because they just don't have they never end, you guys. The
You don't have a
dishes.
dishwasher?
They never end.
No, I do,
Okay.
but they still. The boys go in, they grab a fucking cup and take one sip out of it and
Right.
leave it on the
Needs to be
counter,
washed.
and then it has to be.
Meanwhile, I
You know
use
what
the
mean?
same cup for like a
Yeah.
week.
I
Bachelorhood.
know. They'll
I was about
learn.
to say bachelorhood.
I wouldn't use that word, sorry, but you know what I mean.
They'll learn.
I know what you mean.
For the time being, I live alone. Anyways.
The Bluetooth speaker is where it's at for me. I have
Okay.
a Marley get together that my dad bought me, and it's been down some stairs, tumbled down some stairs from a toy car that ran into a fence and knocked it down. But I would listen to that, and then the Bluetooth speaker in my car. I'm really weird about headphones. In fact, these headphones are driving me crazy that I'm wearing right now.
I feel that on a spiritual level. There's our studio monitors, and I'm like, ah!
Yeah. So yeah, if I had to, I would listen on headphones on a Bluetooth speaker. I had an extensive tape and record collection. Many people knew me as this guy that just had like OG vaporwave stuff, and they didn't even know I was Golden Living Room in the Vaporwave Cassette Club. A lot of people didn't know for a long
that's
time.
really cool.
And I was selling. There's probably at least one or two people in here that I've sold to before. and like, so I think a lot of people assume that I like to listen to cassettes and vinyl, and ideally I would if I was not practical. Not saying it's impractical to listen to that media, but in my practical for my state of where I am in my life, if I had a tape deck that I could like grab a tape and put it in and listen to the album in full, I would, but ain't nobody got time for that. I would love
I like
to.
the shuffle button too much. That's why I'm a DJ.
Yeah. Oh, I never, ever shuffle. That's a strange thing. I've never thought about that.
I know. That's an unpopular take.
I don't.
Your brain is so
Get shit on
wired
all
for
the time.
your brain is so wired for DJing, Isaac. Like it's just like
It's the worst.
So wired.
A song will come on, I'll be like,
Wired
I've never
to be
heard this
DJ.
before, but it's from an album that is like revered in the scene, and I'm like, oh, I listened to it twice, picked the 4 songs that I liked, and ignored the rest of it forever.
Or it's so
It's
wired
such a
for DJing.
Philistine thing to do. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's a you're just a DJ, dude. Like that's the way you experience music.
Yeah. Okay, but in the past it was an iPod. iPod
Well, I'm
60 gig. No, 120 gig. iPod. What are they called? iPod
Shuffle, Nano,
No.
Classic. Did you ever have a Zune? Oh wow.
No,
look at
my
that.
father-in-law did.
Oh wow, I had Zunes. The
This
Windows one.
What is it? iPod Classic. Yeah, iPod
Yeah.
Classic. Man, I got mugged in 2011.
What?
Oh, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
in
I got
the state where you live, you got mugged?
Yeah. I was
What the
outside of
fuck?
WSU, Wichita State University, and I had gone and done my music theory homework, and I came home at like 10 o'clock at night, and I went to my friend's house. I should have gone straight home because I decided to walk instead of ride my bike, and so I walked over to my friend's house. It was across the street, and I went back to my apartment complex, and I saw these guys walking on the side of the building, and so they surrounded me, flanked me, and
Damn.
had a gun on my head. And I just got paid. It was the beginning of the month, and a bunch of students had just paid me for my private lessons. I had like $500 in cash in my wallet,
No.
and they took my phone. They took my my wallet, which was my great grandpa's family heirloom.
Fucking assholes.
And they took my 160 gig, perfectly organized iPod
Album
Classic.
artwork all
I'm
figured out and
talking.
everything.
It was so.
You had all the tags
Yeah.
perfectly manicured.
Heartbreaking.
It was perfect.
Heartbreaking.
And then they were gonna take my bag, and I opened that fucker up, and I was like, "Look, this is music theory homework. You don't need this. Please don't take my homework. I need to turn this in tomorrow." And they let me keep my homework. But they took everything else. They did not take my car keys, and I was standing next to my car, and they did not take my car keys.
Hey, look
So-
at you for looking at the silver lining. The golden lining, sorry.
Yeah. So
Golden lining. Haha, nice.
So you know my album with Telepath, Virtual Fantasy
Yeah.
2097.
2097.
So there's a song. There's a
One
song
great
on there
album.
called I can't see at all. It's safe. So that song was my self therapy to get over getting mugged.
Oh shit, I
It's
need to
safe-
listen to that right now.
It's safe to go outside. Is like basically the only lyric.
Wow.
It's safe to go outside. Yeah.
I know it's not funny, but it kind of is. Strip_silence says stolen living room.
Oh, boy.
No,
We
I'm
can laugh-
over
It's been 10 years. We can laugh
Yeah.
at it now.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a decade.
Clearly, hindsight is. I mean,
I've gone through a lot of traumatic things in my life and relived them to kind of desensitize myself to them. So I'm pretty good at laughing at most things that were pretty traumatic at the time.
good on you, man. That's the only way.
So
Going
then,
back-
so they go. Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted.
I was just saying, going back to the conversation about death. That's the only way.
Yeah.
Anyways, go for
so
it.
anyhow, then you started getting involved with Golden Living Room. You started probably like all of us getting on, like all of a sudden finding yourself becoming friends with all these people across the world, on Facebook. Just you know what I mean? Like all of us did back then. Like we're just getting friend requests from this person, friend requests from that person, and then being like, oh yeah,
Lots and lots
I
of
saw-
aliens.
I saw that. Yeah,
I
I saw
remember the
that.
aliens. Oh my god, I remember that.
I'm sorry, Chris. I know you were being serious, but do you remember the aliens?
Which was the aliens?
You don't remember getting like lots and lots of friend requests from alien?
I still
profiles.
have alien friends.
From what?
You must
alien
not have. You must not have been part of the in crowd, dog.
The alien profile?
Oh,
They
all had
it was a
similar
bunch of
profile
profiles,
pictures.
and they were all aliens, and they had like Arabic names or whatever.
Yeah.
It was
okay,
weird. It
yes,
happened in like
yes.
2014, 2015.
Yeah.
Yes, I do recall that. I remember the Arabic names. I just ignored those requests though,
Of
'cause I didn't
course.
know what that was.
You're a professional.
Yeah.
Like, the rest of us were like, ooh, I wonder what this is.
I didn't. I was
I
like,
think
I don't
maybe
know
they're
what
real. Maybe they're contacting me through Facebook. Anyway,
Telepath
yeah.
is actually a supergroup.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, what you were saying, Chris, about
Meeting at SPF.
yeah, right.
Oh,
so
cool.
It says meeting at
basically,
SPF. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, of course. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right.
You're saying.
no, yeah, too. In Midwest Collective, he was a
Mhm.
part of Midwest Collective, and we were
Yeah.
all doing our thing, and like we were all kind of trying to like fit in, and I was joining the tiny chats with Lux and
Yep.
Stress,
Yep.
Liz, and
Mhm.
Chaz and Saint Pepsi.
Shout out
and
Liz and
Ramona
Chaz.
and all those people. Like I inserted myself because I wanted to be a part of it so badly
Well,
that
we
I
all
just,
did. I mean,
Yeah.
we all did, and because we all were looking at everybody else and ourselves as well, and like
Turntable, yeah,
turntable.
God,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
I was going on Last FM and like looking at who was being scrobbled or whatever around the who was listening to me and was also
TV Nicks,
yeah.
TV Nicks, Sleepy Nicks. That reminded me. Alexa Elite had said something about TV. Yeah, TV Nicks. Anyway, I'm sorry for cutting you off there.
You can cut me off. Absolutely. Just
You're the
getting
guest.
banned,
You get
getting
cut off
artists-
privileges.
Cut me off all you want. I don't shut up. But anyway, yeah, just looking at all the different artists on Last FM and such that were like suggested. If you listen to this, then here's some
Oh
other
man,
things
do you
that-
remember when they changed that? When you couldn't look at
Yeah.
page after page after page of
Yeah.
similar artists? Oh, that made me so
Mhm.
sad.
But then also like Facebook groups like or Facebook pages like
Big Boy Dreams in your brain.
or yeah.
Oh my
exactly,
God, I
or
forgot
music
about
feeds
that.
Or Chillwave, Glowfy,
Mr. Nonsense.
Yeah.
Mr. Nonsense.
Mr. Nonsense, yes.
Mm-hmm.
God,
I mean, Mr.
yeah.
Nonsense curated
Post
a lot
chill
of
wave
this shit.
surfer.
He curated a lot of us and put us together on
One
compilations
star.
or posted our music videos that we would make. It's funny if if you go back and look at maybe like the Symposium compilation, right, which has a lot of
Yeah.
us on it. It's like the people who are still around from that early internet phase. They're the ones that identified with vaporwave. Like, there's a lot of great artists that were like, well, I'm not sure if I'm like part of this or not. And
Oh
it's like,
yeah,
you
Trace
kinda are.
Monotores.
Like, you actually are, but you don't realize it, or maybe you're fighting it, and now you're not around anymore. Like, it's
Right.
interesting. A lot of the people who were around back then in the early internet phase, and who are still here today, were the ones who understood that vaporwave was a movement, and that we wanted to be, we were a part of it. It was happening.
Yeah.
We were a part of it. We didn't fight it. We knew, even if it didn't sound exactly like Macintosh Plus, you knew you were part of it, and and we're still around. If you look at like those compilations or what was going on those, like, there's a lot of great artists that were around back then. I don't know, like there's like artists like Box of Wolves and things like this.
Oh yeah, a lot of the old
yeah,
Keats
and-
Collective guys.
And yeah, it's like the people who didn't really kind of like throw themselves into being associated with the movement, they're not really around anymore.
Living Room Visions. Remember that Facebook group?
Of course.
Living Room Visions.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
or
Living Room
even
Visions.
what's
Sun Up
or
recordings.
yes, absolutely. Styles used to post a lot of stuff, or Corbin.
Stylus?
You're,
Yeah, Corbin.
Yeah,
No,
Corbin
Stylus.
Carey. STYLSS. And then
Yeah,
Sunset
Stylus.
Waves, Corbin Carey.
I would say Sunset Waves with Corbin Carey's curation of stuff and the little Facebook pages he had for everything. And yeah,
I was a stylist boy for a while. I was stylist for.
Wait a minute, you did a guest mix, didn't you?
I did a lot with stylist. I actually.
I love stylist, bro.
I'm glad I brought up stylist.
Stylist is more like hip hop influenced. I feel like,
thing.
but there's been some Saint Pepsi on stylist, like.
Yeah, I got. I really those guys. Okay, here's another moment. Like, I was told to go fuck myself from the lead person of stylist after a few years ago. But that's a hot take because you know what? I'm super grateful for those people because they really pushed me. They really like that dude that runs stylist. That guy. But he was such a dick to me. God.
He's from Portland, isn't he?
Yeah. That dude
Portland
was
guy.
such a dick to me. But the thing is that he was really supportive and really good to the
Love's
collective.
coming through with the links.
Yeah, that dude was so mean to me, and I just
that's a shame.
continue to work because
It's not Jason Burns, is it?
no.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, and then Celador was a part of that, and so
Yeah.
I don't know if this is illegal to say this, but Celador and Stress.
We have to end the
Liz.
episode right now.
And Liz and Celador were a little sad.
Just kidding.
If anybody else didn't know that. If you guys didn't listen to Little Sad, I don't know. I really liked Little Sad a lot. Like, that was a good one for me. But anyway, yeah, Stylus was really a great learning experience.
Love Stylus.
Plug in Dropout was technically released on Stylus.
Honestly, Kid Henrik's Stylus guest mix introduced me to so much good future trap, wave music, instrumental hip hop. Like,
Yeah, me too.
damn.
Yeah, so, like, let's see. Yeah, so then the tapes came out on This Ain't Heaven Recording Concern. So, yeah, anyway, Stylus was great. I learned a lot from them. I
Shout out
don't have anything
Stylus.
negative I don't have anything negative to say except for that the lead guy was a little bit mean to me, but I think that was just sort of like my victimhood.
I mean, I kind of wonder why, but maybe that's not for this broadcast.
Sure. Yeah, I think it was more my victimhood and my naivete and sort of like tendency to be up here all the time and not like, get your shit together, Joel. I need this like now.
That's a really mature way of looking at it. I mean,
I need those ass kickers, man. I really do. My wife has got to kick my ass all the time, or else I wouldn't get anything done. I need somebody to prod me.
respect it. We got a couple of questions. We're winding down to our last 15 minutes. We got a couple of questions that haven't been addressed yet. One of them, kind of a fun one from Nathan from a while back. He said, "If you could live in any MMORPG world for the rest of your life, what would it be?"
Final Fantasy 11.
Okay.
Wow. That was
I need
quick.
to play Final Fantasy 11. I don't like MMOs, but I guess I need to check it out.
It's great, yeah, but it's sort of like, I don't know.
That optional super boss, I'm told, is like the hardest in the entire series.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good answer. Next question. Bulgarian, what is his username? Bulgarian Zoomer. Another good question. What's the backstory and meaning of Sunday, May 3rd, 2015 track from Post Internet?
Oh, God. I was just listening to that the other day. I'm actually using the same microphone right now that I recorded that on. My wife was like so pregnant, and she was really uncomfortable, and I wasn't sleeping well because she wasn't sleeping well, and so I got up really early in the morning, but that was before my days of getting up early intentionally. And so, yeah, my second son was about to be born. Sam, my oldest son, would sleep really late, and so I got up and I went out on the deck, and I was watching the sunrise. I was drinking my coffee, and I was recording and just talking, and the birds were just sort of like it was mesmerizing to the point where I got almost into a trance. I was so tired, but I was listening to the birds, and it like kind of transported me, and I almost felt like I was like went into a dream state really fast from the sounds of the birds.
Oh wow!
Even though I
love this.
even though I didn't drink a whole cup of coffee, I like went sort of like started like hallucinating or something. I don't know how to explain it, but then I went and I started working with the recordings from that mic, and I had a really bad. The bleeps in that are completely unintentional. They're like literally the sound of my sound cards like getting ready to explode. Just saying, this is a warning
That's
that
so interesting.
whatever it is that you're doing is going to max out the system, and it's going to destroy your computer. And it would bleep and blip and finally, when I had enough problems, I took it to my friend Josh, and I was like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, your settings. Like, well, you have no idea what you're doing, do you?" No, I don't. Still don't. Anyway, yeah. So, then I just and then the loop that's playing, the musical loop that's playing, is actually a sample from Final Fantasy V.
Ooh. I noticed you didn't put that one in your top 4.
Oh, I've never played it.
What?
Yeah, I know.
You got to play the Game Boy Advance port, dog. I wouldn't put it like at the top. I'd put it like in the middle, but you know.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. I need to.
It's a weird,
Sure.
zany final dungeon, dude. It's. I mean, those final dungeons are always super metaphysical, but like 5 is off the charts.
Yeah. That's a good question. That's a really good song. I mean, it turned out like the environment created that song. I just sort of like channeled that. I just sort of channeled that one.
I love that, man. That's a super cool story.
Can I ask a question?
Please do.
Yeah.
Just really briefly, how'd you first link up with our buddy Telepath?
I also know this.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. He knows the honest truth. Okay, be honest. Dream Catalogue had contacted me about putting out Welcome Home, or asked me for an album, and I kept putting them off because I was just such a fucking arrogant dick at the time. Like, I just thought I was like something cool because I was there at the beginning or whatever. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, oh, everyone's doing vaporwave now. This is fucking bullshit. You know, I was in it before. It was cool. You know, that was my attitude at the time. So then I saw everybody was like talking about Telepath, and I was like, well, why is everybody talking about Telepath? Because he's just a fucking poser, like all these other new people.
Dude, I remember when Luxury Elite and St. Pepsi were new, and I was like, I don't know about this new vaporwave.
Right. Yeah. So I'm like,
it's a good thing I didn't listen to that stupid inner dialogue.
Right. Yeah, I know. So it was my pure arrogance that led me to saying, let me tell you, I'm being honest, guys. Okay. So I was like, you know what? This guy's getting so much attention. I should just ask him if he wants to collaborate. I didn't even listen to his music at first. I didn't.
I love that.
That's how fucking arrogant I was. Okay.
He'll be lucky to.
Right. Well, no, it wasn't.
Hey,
it
I
just,
respect you being
like,
honest about that. Time for the flames, Jiff.
God,
Yes,
I'm
put
telling
the
you.
flames, Jeff.
I was so like full of myself at that time. Like, God damn. Like, and I never told anybody. I was only like into myself in my own head. Like I said, I get stuck in my head.
We all feel that way about ourselves.
That's the id, dude.
You know, we all get in that headspace once in a while, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. I think that at some point, and you know, good for you for acknowledging. Like, man, I don't know what I was thinking, but I think every single one of us has been there at some point. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I know I have. So like, I get everybody has been there.
Well, I started talking to him, and we instantly started talking about dreams, and
that's cool.
Then I realized we had a major connection like from the get go, and so I started listening to the music, and I was like, oh my god,
yeah,
it's phenomenal. It's just
oh my god.
Oh,
not all of it, but a lot of it.
And
I'm a big fan of the music and the person as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
he changed my life.
I really have enjoyed every conversation I've ever had with them. You know,
so yeah, Telepath. I'm just being, and if I have to continue to be honest, the man has changed my life, and probably saved my life. Wow. So
that's really cool.
And he's my best friend, so I'll just leave it at that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
There's he's just a
that.
really fun person to have a conversation with. Because I'm the sort of person who really doesn't like to discuss superficial things very often, or for too long at least. It just begins to bore me. Like, I don't want to talk about just like I like to get to the, to like the more fun things to talk about are the abstract concepts for me at least. And he does that very well. And I remember having great conversations with him and smoking his private stashes over at the ElectroniCON too and such. So yeah, nothing but positive things for me.
The guy is
on that aspect.
So he took over that mentorship role that Josh had for me, and has.
That's interesting because he's pretty young.
Yeah, he's like almost 10. He's almost 10 years younger than me. I think he's probably like 8. He's like 8 or 7 years younger than me. I think. And anyway,
we're all in our 30s here, I think.
Yeah, I'm 34, and so
same.
I think he's. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how old he is exactly.
Well, in many ways, we are all every age. Depending on who we are.
Yeah.
We're all the ages, honestly. You know?
Indeed.
So, yeah, he's taught me pretty much like everything that I know about using. Like the way I did all those early albums is just completely like totally whack. That the way I recorded those, and he's taught me a lot and continues to teach me.
I used some choice tracks for our promo, so clearly you've made an impact, at least on myself.
Well, that's great. This has been like, this is great. I was nervous. I tell you, I get nervous.
Oh, really?
Like, every performance, yeah.
I used to get nervous.
It's so much fun. Hot Takes is a fun time to just
Yeah.
chat and talk, go through your journey of how you became who you are musically, you know what I mean, and personally, and it's just it's fun, and this is what we do here. That's why I don't really consider this like terribly much an interview show. This is we're having a conversation.
Sure.
We have if you don't mind me jumping in, we have another really good question by Nathan before we kind of start to close things out. Wants to know how you what did he say? How did you link up with Death's Dynamic Shroud?
Okay, James. It was the Final Fantasy 11 and Phantasy Star Online. Mainly Phantasy Star Online because
he
Phantasy
told
Star
me to
Online,
check that out. I didn't. I should.
Yeah, Phantasy Star Online was before Final Fantasy 11, right before.
Is that an MMO or a strategy RPG?
Yeah, it was on Dreamcast.
It's an MMO, okay.
And then it was ported to GameCube. Anyway, I probably wasted a whole entire year or two of my life.
I wouldn't say that was wasted.
And then a year or two of my life on Final Fantasy 11. But I was sampling PSO, and he was reblogging my stuff on Tumblr. Yeah, and he was basically reaching out to me because he really liked my music and was just like,
cool.
championing my music. And then
another guitar player himself, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it's like absolutely, you know. James.
And he just sort of just like put me
James
on a
is a
pedestal,
guitar
like,
player?
Yeah.
James?
I didn't know that. Wow, okay.
Dude, really?
Yeah.
Of course. James is a big guitar
I've only
player.
seen him live like once. I didn't know.
Oh no, he's like the amount of bands that him and Tech did
the prog bands. Oh, I didn't know that he played the guitar.
Yeah.
My bad.
Oh
Sorry,
my God,
guys.
Yeah, he plays guitar.
Fake shrouding
He's played
confirmed.
guitar at some Death's Dynamic Shroud shows as well, actually. Oh, James, yeah, if you ever listen to some of his side projects and such, there's more guitar work on those. Yeah.
Yeah, James, he made me feel special, like by like calling my music New World because that was his thing, and like, and then then I listened to his stuff, and then we have this other friend named Zedra, goes by Zedra Cyborg on Facebook, and also a really great person and really great artist, and we were sort of like this power trio of like, we love Final Fantasy and we love Phantasy Star Online, and like anything
cool.
anything Sega aesthetic, you know, anything like that late 90s, early 2000s Sega aesthetic was like our jam. That was our bonding point. So yeah, James and I have some. I'll since we're almost to that promo point, I'll talk about something with James soon.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
and then go ahead and just segue into that once you're.
You want
Okay.
to get into the promo stuff now, Isaac? Should we just get into
Well,
that?
he said he wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the James
sorry.
thing, and then
I'm sorry.
go ahead and just go right into your promo.
That's the promo.
Oh,
itself.
let's do it. Okay.
So James
Oh,
and I
this
did
is
an
exciting.
album. Yeah, James and I did an album together in 2018. And it was like right when Death's Dynamic Shroud kind of like exploded, like around that time. And so the album has been done since 2018, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's so good. Anybody who's heard it, which has been a few people, knows how good it is. And James got so busy that it was really hard to like get him to commit to finishing it, but he didn't want to scrap it. He never wanted to scrap it. He just wanted to like wait till the time was right, like time, you know.
Yeah.
So I almost had given up hope on it ever coming out, because it's completely done. I mean, even the artwork is done.
Wow.
It's mastered. It just has never had the back credit thing made. That's it. That's literally it.
Wow.
And so the talks are to have it come out on Midwest Collective, and hopefully 2022. That's as specific as I can be. And then
Phenomenal.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it.
You heard it here first on Hot Takes.
You heard it here first.
it's, you guys, It's so good. Like,
I can't wait to hear it.
I'm
so
sorry.
excited.
Like James.
Is it
James-
online? Can we hear it?
No.
No, he's
not yet.
not till 2022, Isaac.
Yeah.
Well, he said
Well,
it's been
technically-
done. I don't know. I thought maybe it was
It's
on.
been done,
Maybe.
but it's in the vault.
We'll see.
Goddamn. That's
I don't know.
exciting.
I don't know yet, but I
Man, I would have been blowing this guy's inbox up. When are we going to release it?
Oh, I know.
It's hard. But you know how it is as a musician and an artist is like, it's really hard to like completely finish things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
I have
like,
always
it
wondered
takes
how you
a
guys
long
know
time.
when to stop.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, for instance, you know, my ambient side project, like I had gotten your contribution from it like months ago, right? But it takes you forever to just get
Right.
everything together, to get the track list, to get it mastered. Still not even done yet. I still have to get like the artwork. I got to figure out
Right.
how I'm
It's
going to
so
release
good.
it. Who I'm
Good
going to
thing
release
you have
it.
a wealth
Oh,
of
yeah.
opportunities and choices.
Yes, I'm glad
anyway.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because that's an exciting album.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard some
Thank you.
early leak. Well, not
Yes.
leaks.
Oh,
You
thank
showed
you.
me, and I
We'll
was
get to
excited
that in the
about what I
promos.
heard.
We'll get to it. I just got the masters for it back from Angel. So
Oh, great.
Keep sneaking
Fire
into
Tool-
his Insta story.
Yeah, Angel and Mark, like, you know, Fire Tools just
Yeah.
finished mastering and engineering for it. So, but we'll get to that in the promos. All when it comes to my time, or
Right.
etc.
Sure.
So, all right.
Yeah, to continue my promo thing, Welcome Home is going to be reissued on vinyl
Okay.
with my pet Flamingo.
Ooh,
There.
yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes,
Phenomenal.
finally, and it's got reworked album artwork ish, just a little bit from John Mo Productions,
Mm-hmm.
and
Man, I did not know John Mo did those by hand. I can't.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, and if
Wow.
Bulgarian Zoomer is still in here, he wrote
He
me
is.
a short essay on all the loose knits of my albums in terms of how they're like put on Spotify versus YouTube versus just the cohesion from like service to service and how it wasn't the same and why it wasn't. So this will be the definitive version of Welcome Home that has Artistic Amnesia is one of the songs that wasn't on the actual album, but it was on the full tape, but it wasn't on the digital. So that'll be on there, and it'll be in the correct placing, and yeah. So that's gonna happen. There's talks about New Nostalgia and Post Internet also coming out. Or sorry, New Nostalgia and Post Internet. I don't know about Plug In and Drop Out. Maybe Post Internet is maybe gonna come out on another label, but that hasn't gotten far enough for me to really say for sure.
Yeah.
There's also talk about Nine Reflections coming out as a vinyl as well, but
Nice.
that's sort of like premature. But
Yeah.
the artwork has been done by our friend August already, and
Yeah.
it's
Very
Shout
cool.
out August.
beautiful. So I haven't given up hope on
Perfect.
that, August. I have not. So it's just I'm like just really busy. There's will at some point also be some Jory Camacho music to come.
Very
So
cool.
Jory Camacho is sort of like my folky, psychedelic folk side project.
Cool.
Yep,
I
that's
like
it.
it.
All right. Isaac, that's a lot of great stuff.
That is a
Oh,
lot
and
of great
nobody
stuff.
here. Yeah, and nobody here. Sorry, I forgot.
Oh yeah, the story of Vaporwave.
Thanks to Chris. Actually, I got an interview on that, and I'm gonna.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, that's fine. I was happy to be a part of that.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got
you got
you.
me.
I
Hook me up with that.
I linked them up with Dennis as well with me.
Awesome.
But
I don't have
Isaac?
anything, man. I was supposed to perform for the Pacific Plaza Rosewood show 12/12, where Matt Watson got invited and sold the show out last minute, and I got sick as a motherfucker and couldn't do my set. So Feats the Wombat threw down a badass, like it sounded like a nasty hip hop set.
phenomenal.
But yeah, I missed it completely, man. I got nothing coming up. Probably going to be throwing together some sort of something just for giggles.
Nice.
I do want to show you guys one super cool thing if you'll give me 1 second.
Sure. Take your time. Ooh, wow. I wonder what this super cool thing is going to be.
Yeah, Lux. is
Sorry.
saying-
Just thought about this last. I didn't mean to cut you off,
I
man.
know what this. I know what this is now.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
show
did
it.
a DJ set for the.
Oh, this is amazing, by the way.
Isn't it? I did a DJ set
I
for
love
a
this.
Vapor Space. Worldwide Wave happened in the summertime, and I did a 30-minute Outrun Synthwave DJ set. And my partner, Luxury Elite, did the visuals. Lux has done visuals for many of her sets, does a phenomenal job with archival footage. commercials, ads, whatever. For my birthday, Lux had Yovozal assist her in pressing to VHS a copy of our 30-minute set that I did for Worldwide Wave. Wow. She has the set list right here with some screen grabs.
She is so phenomenally
fucking S-tier gift right here. Now, my VCR is a piece of shit and won't play, but she and I have a copy of this set. Lux, if you want, link it in the chat. Some of the coolest visuals I've had the pleasure of having done for me.
They're amazing visuals.
They are. Lots of Ford and Low Patton, Comtrues, Mitch Murder. It's not my work. It's just mixing. But I was very, very happy to be a part of that. The visuals are amazing, and I don't know if I've ever gotten a more special gift in my entire life. I know I can get VCRs for $15. I'm just lazy. But anyways, that's about the only thing I really have to shout out is this amazing gift from my wonderful, beautiful partner, skilled, talented, luxury elite. All right, you have the floor, boss.
Okay, so I guess the next thing that I'll be having coming out will be my ambient side project, Polymath Vampire. That is finished. It features collaborations with our good friend and current guest, Golden Living Room, and guitar work from Golden Living Room. Also features guitar work from Donor Lens and also from Tower of the Sun and Winter Quilt and Hawaii 94. And it just it's been mastered and engineered by also a previous Hot Takes guest, Fire Tools, Angel Marklewood.
Shout out Angel.
And that's just been mastered, and keep an eye out. Let's see what happens next.
I love that album. I listened to it. I listened to it a lot.
I listened to a bit of it too, and I'm very impressed.
I had to. At first, I was drawing a blank on what I was gonna do with the guitar work on it, and so then finally I set up all my pedals and I walked away for like a couple hours, and I came back and put it on and just started playing. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling it. So I just hit record and then caught some of the higher moments of that.
Beautiful work. Perfect. Thank you so much for contributing to it, and I will keep you abreast of further developments soon.
Yes.
All right.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for making this a very special night for me, Chris, and Golden Living Room. Thank you, Golden Living Room, for joining us tonight and giving us some insight into you and your taste.
Yes.
Don't forget to join us in 2 weeks.
Love you guys.
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. Invite your friends. Bring some people in. Share the love. And meet back here at 7 p.m. Pacific on January 3 for an evening with Lunitas.
Yes, Lunitas will be
renowned vaporwave artist Lunitas will be joining us in 2 weeks, and we love you guys very, very much. Thank you for being dedicated fans, and good night.
Good night.
That's a hot take.
Swing it around American flag, because that's what America's supposed to be. It's supposed to look like permanently chill.
The insurance commercial has a fat ass but like no personality.
Yeah, I feel like sitting here and listening to this.
No, god damn it. Isaac, New Noise is not the first fucking refused album.
Rip Isaac a new one today. Do you know what I mean? Like...
Don't touch my records.